And it just so happens that I got a little Christmas gift. An eternal lurker by the name of Joss V sent me an email just yesterday, and it had a custom Caesar 3 map in it, and I've been gagging for some good custom Caesar 3 maps for a while. Sadly, not many of them are getting made these days, or rather, most of the maps that get made today are made for Augustus rather than Julius, and I'm not big on Augustus. But let's not worry about that, let's enjoy the map that we have here. So the map is called... yeah, what is it called? And where is it? Here we go. Living in an almost plebeian something something. I think it's paradise. Yeah, there we go. A central average besieged province. The game thinks it's easy, and why wouldn't it be? We've got 60 years to get under 5,000 people, with moderate goals, although thankfully not much of a culture goal, because culture is rubbish. We'll get in, we'll get paused, and we'll have a look around. The agenda for today is that I'm going to play through this map. We're not going to have a vote on whether or not I win it, because I'm fairly confident I'm going to crush this map. I mean, look at it. And once we're done with this, we're going to transition into a Xenonauts giveaway, where we play through our chapter of Ballistics only, but every time a soldier gets downed, I'm going to give away a game to Steam Chat, or some kind of Steam code. Can we really call half of these things games? I don't know. But that will be after this. But it seems about right to have a bit of a poll or a prediction whenever we do a Caesar 3 map, so why don't we do one anyway? It's going to be a little different, though. Oh, you can't hear my typing, which kind of takes away the feeling of progress here. Right, this season I prefer to give or receive. Now, it could be that you're feeling a little strapped for everything this Christmas, particularly real-world dosh, but maybe, just maybe, you can get in the festive period and instead give away some points. Although, on the other hand, if you're that strapped, maybe you want to receive. There we go. So if you feel like giving to your fellow chatter, then there you go. Or if you're a bit grinchy and you only want to receive, then also there you go. Who just went in with 10 points there? I saw it plop up with 10 the moment it went up there. Freaking grinchy Grinch's Chumro just says, I'm a bit broke. Hey now, I can be charitable, that guy, Kaede. I can be very charitable. Just have to be in a charitable mood for it. I misclicked, I put in 9,000 after. Right, we'll let that stew away and we'll come back to it in half an hour once it's all done, and then we can... I'm not even going to name and shame, it's all about getting in the festive mood for it. Okay, so what map do we have here from Joss V? It's a central map, so there are fires, but there is good wheat production, and it's quite a small map, and I like that. I share Illustration's idea that a nice, dense map, such that you can pretty much see your whole city on one screen, is a really cozy feeling and something that city builders should aspire to allowing for. I'm not a big fan of those massive Caesar 3 maps where it's just huge flat area and you just stomp down cookie cutter blocks, or have to scroll far and far just to see other parts of it. So, what do we make of it? It's got a reasonable amount of farming land, although much of it is awkward. It's on this somewhat limited area here behind the river, same here, here, and here. There is some down in this valley, although, as we know, farms are sizable things, 3x3, and that's not going to be very good for stamping them down. Fish does not appear to be available, but our food types include wheat and vegetables. That's 2 food types. Can we trade for more? There we go. We got fruit available in Carthago Nova, so if we want 3 food types, that's all well and available to us. Mediolanum doesn't sell us food, they sell us olives and vines, which we can produce. Actually, we can see all the produce that's available here, and actually, we have access to everything apart from meat and fruit locally, so that's very generous of the map. Or the map maker, I suppose. We do not have all health available. Very interestingly, we have no access to hospitals. Why is that interesting? Because it limits us to small villas, the smallest, weakest, crummiest kind of patrician housing. Which is very funny because the prosperity requirement is 87. The most prosperity you can get with only plebeians is 80, so we are necessitated to make some small villas, which are otherwise really rubbish. They don't even pay particularly good taxes, they demand a lot of things, and they don't work, so nay great. Right, fortunately we have access to all temple types and oracles, which is great because oracles are amazing for space saving. A population of 4,500 necessary would mean an uncomfortable amount of regular temples, but with oracles it becomes all that more feasible. School and library, but no access to the academy. That would hinder our culture if our culture rating wasn't so low on requirements. Mission post is available, but interestingly, it will be completely redundant because there is no, or there does not appear to be, a native trading post. So I won't be able to trade with the natives, but that also means these natives will never get angry enough to attack us. That only happens if there is a trading post available. Not many people know that. I certainly didn't until it was pointed out to me. Looks like we have access to all of the entertainment types, including the mighty hippodrome. Where you're meant to fit a hippodrome on this map, I don't know. There are certainly possibilities, but it eats up very valuable building land. It's not even conceivable to put it here. And I wouldn't want to put it here for reasons we'll get to. All governance appears to be available. This is limited. There's no access to plaza. I like plaza a lot, but it is a hell of a crutch. On top of that, no fishing. On top of that, there is no dock. Now, I would imagine a dock would go here, or... Okay, I would imagine a dock would go here. But no dock. That means that we will not be able to trade with Rome or with Capua, despite them having root things here. I suppose that saves us 1,100 denarii on the fees for opening it. But, Cheers, Worm. Although most of all, cheers for dragging out Shanch, who's never spoken in chat before, but does now. Yeah, Worm loves the Christmas spirit. He is a very jolly fellow. I've had the pleasure of meeting Worm before. He came over my balcony, came into my home. But he came bearing gifts, so all was well. And his company was certainly welcome too. Right, military. We do know that there are going to be attacks because we can give them forts, military academy, and barracks. And using my incredible gamer senses, I am 100% sure that this is an attack point. It's a very obvious looking gap in the forest. Attacks can only come from open ground at the edge of a map. So this is valid, and this is valid. 2 attack points. This one's right on the arable land. There's a slight possibility of an attack area here. It's not common for people to put attack points right on the entrance and exit, but look at how purposefully this is cut out. I suppose it doesn't really change anything whether it's the entry and exit points or not. We know that we need to make a defense around here, otherwise they'll go up and over this hill. They can't get around here, so yeah, this is a defense point that we need right here, and this is a defense point that we need right here. So that limits our building area pretty much to the area down here. Now, this isn't a huge amount of population, but it's not a lot of good land to use. So, how are we going to start this? A friendly home invasion. With Worm, it's always friendly, though. Right, my last paltry channel points, Jake. Don't disappoint me. But, what do you mean? What do you mean, don't disappoint? You've decided that it's the season for giving, Yoshiba-san. Maybe you're thinking that I'm going to pull a reverso here, but there's no way I'd be so cruel on Christmas. Maybe you didn't even look at what the gamble was, Yoshu. Typical Yoshiba-san. Typical TBW. He likes to receive. Okay, right, what's going to go on here then? Carthagonova will buy veggies, oil, and pottery. And Mediolanum will buy... Well, there's pottery again, so that's an obvious first export. Oil and furniture and weapons. I should... Well, my typical strategy is to just get on all exports immediately. A few problems. How's our access to iron ore, though? Iron mines cannot be set up against hills, only rocks. Plenty of rocks here, but it's a very dangerous place to set up. Ah, we have industry just begging to be exploited here and here. And I suppose down here. So actually this is a great place for industry. Very fortunately placed for pottery, for wood, and for mining. And I suppose up here we can even have some oil. So I reckon I'm going to first establish a bit of a tent colony here to get industry up and rolling. And when we have money and a bit of manpower, I'm going to clear out this area and set up a proper plebeian block. It's going to be tight, and it's going to have to be pretty highly leveled. With a requirement of 87 prosperity, I either have to make a lot of patricians, and they're going to be crummy small villa patricians, or I have to have all of my plebeians in grand insulae and only have a modest sprinkling of patricians. Neither of those are particularly appealing from a, oh, I'll have an easy time front, but come on, this is Caesar 3. This is my game. I play this and I win this. I'm a little tempted not to set up my starting area here because it's a bit far from the entrance. I suppose it's not that far, it's one screen, but if I'd set them up here, I would instantly get the manpower that I need. Not to mention, ooh, wow, there's everything here, isn't there? Rock, farmland, ability to cut down trees. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, complete change of plan, and we hope that we don't get immediately jumped by our foes. I'm going to clear this out, so I got a bit of room to work with. And this, in fact, is going to be Tent Town. Not a town anybody really wants to be involved with. Shout out to the Logitech G502 mouse. It's giving up on Christmas of all days. It has begun double-clicking like a madman, so if there's any time where it looks like a double-click strangely, it's because of that. Man, Logitech makes some good stuff, but it never lasts. Recht, I have the industry to set up 3 iron mines. Or rather, we have the demands for it. Mediolanum is the simple one to go for. So about 3 iron mines, 3 clay pits, and 3... Wow, that's a lot of starting industry. Works for me, though. Well, there's no point doing any of that until we actually have people in here. So let us get those people. It'll be easier to think if I don't have this road giving me preconceptions about where people should live. In fact, I reckon we could have a pretty healthy amount of tent warriors around here. Cheers, IFT clerk. Gotta hand it to IFT, he's always in the spirit of giving and helping. He helped me out big time when I was working on my Japanese for Rune Factory 5, if you dare to remember that game. Sometimes I try to forget it, but it was a real game, and we did stream it. Right, let's get these people in. They will need a few things, not least of all religion, which is an easy thing to forget, and of course they're going to need doctoring. I haven't played Caesar 3 in a while, and these things you just, well, I certainly keep forgetting. But they're very important, and I certainly want people living over here to get labour access. I do not know why Dark Slayer decided the first thing they wanted to say here was mods, but they got mods alright.
I've heard there are jobs here. Ah, I want to be a lion tamer. Greetings, I'm new to this place. Do you know anywhere to live?
Now, just in case you weren't around for it, I tasked people here with submitting voiceovers for this game, and we had a lot of fun with that. I eventually went back to the original voices, because the original voices in this game are really good, but I kept some that I really particularly liked, and our immigrant is voiced by our very own Nyx. Nyx doesn't do anything these days apart from play Arma and Factorio, but he still lives on in my heart. Finally a C3 stream, thanks, says Euristo's fan 262. Well, after all that Dwarf Fortress, he's got a lot of fans. Nyx recently escaped from Sweden as well. Ooh, wow. It's big old abandoned ship time for Sweden, it seems. Rightfully so. Recht. I need industry, and I need it now. Weapons are the most... Well, Christ, we didn't check the prices, did we? They could have been flummoxed. Yeah, weapons are the most lucrative thing to export in Caesar. Is that true? Yeah, Christ, they beat wine. That's good. In that case, I'm going to want 3 iron mines. 1, 2, 3. It doesn't matter how incredibly undesirable they are as neighbors here. Because... Yeah, why exactly doesn't it matter? I'm sure there's a good reason. These people are living in small tents, and I will keep them as small tents. I never go the extra mile to evolve my tents to large tents unless I have a very good reason. Because although you think, oh, you only need to give a fountain to make them small tents, you have to put that, to make them large tents. You have to find places for those fountains, which have very low range. And large tents actually want a bit of desirability, and I'd rather just not have to deal with that. So we'll get some iron going immediately. This is going to chew up all of the unemployment that I have. And we're going to need all of the temples. I'm going to slam one down here and one down here, just to give a bit of desirability here. Never know when you're going to need it. Otherwise, I want them away from anywhere that's that we particularly care about. I'm going to want this place for farming, surely, so I'll just slam you down over there, and that should be good. If we can get a Neptune blessing, then all the better. Nyx is quite active on the programming and Nitrous channel, so he's alive and well. I think he's just set up a bot to make him seem alive and well there, or he's set up a bot to play Factorio, because that's all I see of Nyx. Every time I click on Factorio, there are 2 people playing it, Urkran and Nyx. And I suppose these days myself as well. I hope we can make it in for the multiplayer. I'm quite excited about that.
Greetings. This city urgently needs more food.
More food makes it sound like we already have some food, but we do not. Right, I am noticeably short on cash already, so I'm going to set up those weapon workshops. We need 6 of them. We don't have the unemployment for it, or even really the space for it, but we're going to slam them down anyway. And... there, 1, 2, 3... I've not left myself good space here. I would like to have 2... warehouses here, but I guess that isn't going to happen. Slam you over here, I suppose. Have this come down. Good space for doubling up here as well. I guess I can fit in 2 farms here if I'm lucky. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, a couple of farms will work there. Yeah, they'll get started with that. I do want this thing to wrap around, though. I'm loath to put down my warehouse early, but down it goes. We'll get this out and along here. And I do want this to meet up, so there we go. And... yeah, that seems reasonable. So that's good access for all the raw materials. We're going to start up our industry. This is how I tend to start my cities. People live in horrible slums and make me money, because when people send me maps, and bear in mind I always play on very hard mode these days, people send me maps and they love to starve me on starting denarii, and that only pushes me further into my idea of everybody must make me some money. We're going to need fire safety and building safety on the outer rim here, or else that fire risk is going to go out of control. I could have built a figure of 8, which I tend to do anyway, but that would have necessitated 2 prefects anyway, so I might as well keep them disjointed. Something I forgot to do, of course, is lower my taxes to 0% and increase wages. Because of that, people are very indifferent to me, but they'll be happier now. There's no point charging taxes if you don't have a forum, and there's no point taxing your people if they live in anything worse than a hovel. On very hard mode, you get 0 taxes out of tents and shacks, which are worse than hovels, of course. I'm probably going to go into debt anyway, because I need 450 to open up with Mediolanum. That's not good. I'm going to drop my own salary down to clerk. We started at engineer, which is strangely generous. And we're going to give everything we have to this... yeah, forget it, it's not even worth it. Caesar's going to do his usual talking down at us affair, but we can live with that, I'm sure. Kiryu, what is it like being so right? Okay, I better get on the pottery. They do take pottery up here, right? Yeah, they take loads of good things up there. So the reason I'm getting on it is because I have 65 unemployed people, and the sooner you get on the industry, the better. 1, 2, 3. We can also use this to build up our military. We've had no indication that enemies are coming, although some map makers love to use the sudden strike of local barbarians, which is horrible, but what's a man to do but stomach it? Is this an extension map? I don't remember from all the main campaigns. Oh yeah, this is a custom-made map. I have played the main campaign to death, and I even did the main campaign as a weekly one-shot. A highly enjoyable weekly one-shot. If you didn't get the opportunity to watch that, well, I would say you should rectify that, because it was great. Not at all how one should play this game, in my opinion, but it was quite the experience. Timber yard. Now we've got the demand for 3 timber yards worth, so 1, 2, 3. Even the word timber makes me think of Final Fantasy VIII, and I prefer not to think too much about Final Fantasy VIII because the game's god-awful. Gonna get in more slums.
You got through those funds quickly. Try to make these new funds last longer.
It's a shame we don't have that kind of model of Caesar to rip out. It'd be fun to put him in hilarious poses and capture him for various reactions. Also, Ninja, I want to take the time to single you out and say thank you for sending over a lovely Christmas package from Japan. I suspected as much, so I took my time enjoying it today. Well received, although one thing leaves me very curious. Inside it was a pack called Baby Something Something Ramen. Am I meant to eat those raw, or am I meant to cook it? See, it's ramen, so I would suspect I should cook it. But the picture on the box indicated some kind of baby just gnawing it down, leaving me all sorts of confused. Right, I need to up my weapons production. Well, you know what? I'm going into debt anyway. Right, Mediolanum, open up. Debt is of no great consequence as long as you get out of it by the turn of the year, so we're going to...
My governors think money grows on trees.
It's alright, Caesar can take a check. Although I think my check's about to bounce. Yeah, screw it, let's get on the... Ooh, that's not pottery. Whoops. How did I click on furniture instead of pottery? You know, the words just look so similar. There we go. Okay, well, I think I am going to be in debt at the turn of the year here. Well, we opened up the trade route, so soon Lucky's going to come in.
A good day to you. Can I interest you in some top quality goods?
And Lucky's going to love coming here, because I've got some very expensive weapons to sell him, and it's up to him to drag me out of debt.
Careful. I wish these workers would take more care when they load the beasts up with my new purchases.
Well, thanks, Lucky. You did drag us out of debt.
My governors think money grows on trees.
But all of the wages I pay and other expenses mean that I immediately go back into debt. Right, we also have the wood coming in, and that wood needs to be turned into glorious furniture. I only have 1 furniture workshop, whereas I need 6. So 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6.
Ooh, I love coming here. Business is going very well.
I love that. I love that line out of Lucky. I forget how long ago he did it, but it's great. And I do constantly find myself saying that to myself. I open up the fridge after just having restocked, and I go, ooh, I love coming here. Open up my wallet, find there's actually money in it. Ooh, I love coming here. You get the idea. What I don't love is my staggering amount of underemployment, actually. I may need to set up that extra penal colony sooner than expected. There are other ways I could handle this, but I've set up a lot of industry and I do not have the people to handle it right now. I can get some more over here without blocking the road to Rome. But that's only a drop in the ocean. I need more. Tell you what, I think I'll block this off because the road to Rome is still... No, I need them to be able to come out and around. Troublesome. Tell you what then. There you go. Embrace destiny. Except, I should most certainly have a prefecture up here just to make sure everything is very fireproof. Because right now it's very opposite of fireproof. It's snack ramen. You eat it as is. I don't think I put in anything tricky. I wasn't even familiar with the idea of snack ramen. I figured ramen was something you always cook up. Alright, the underemployment is gradually getting fixed, and the money situation, well, I'd like to be more fixed, but for some reason we don't have all this pottery and furniture over there. Was that Mars protecting me? Oh, that's very nice. So Mars will look after us, we shouldn't get too ravaged. I'd be a lot happier if I was able to sell a lot more goods at double price, but I don't think we're going to get another sale in. Also, I've blocked the route over here, haven't I? So if Lucky comes back, he has to make a long way around. I'm going to demolish this so that there's a clean route over to the warehouse. I'm going to hope Lucky comes in.
Ooh, I love coming here.
Thank you, Lucky. So, provided Lucky gets to my warehouse before the turn of the year, he's going to buy all this stuff at double price, and I am going to make Boon Dollar. He's made it, he's buying it, yum, 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 yum. There we go, now we have some actual money, although I would still like an actual bit more money. Delighted by your devotion, Mercury has uncovered hidden produce in a granary. I have no granary, so Mercury's pulling a fast one on me. But that's okay, I've been pulling a fast one on everybody else.
A good day to you. Can I interest you in some top quality goods?
Playing military maps, never build army, pray to Mars. How I wish. Right, I reckon a few more exchanges with Lucky and I'll be able to build up an actual plebeian area that's not going to be as ridiculously small and crummy as this. This is packed in. Really packed, actually. Ended up being more viable for population than I thought. If we can change out how we handle our industry later on, I might be able to switch this out for military, set up a barracks here, and well, since I want to defend this point and this point, I'm going to want my forts. I reckon I could fit 2, maybe 3? Probably 2 here. 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 somewhere else, and have a nice wall here and a nice wall here. I think this has the potential for a very idealistic or idyllic looking settlement when all is said and done. I plan to have all said and done. I'm going to set up some more land for people living here. Yeah, but you're complaining. Ah, that's significantly less fun. Landslides means that Lucky coming and buying my goods is going to be infrequent.
A good day to you. Can I interest you in some top quality goods?
And you can't predict when the landslides are going to happen, and if they want to, they can just happen again and again and again. And each time they delay the traders coming, it's not too bad because you'll pile up your goods and sell a huge amount when he does come in, but the pack mules have a cargo capacity of up to 8 units. Ships are better at 12. Now, let's start planning, shall we? Clear out some land, because I don't anticipate a need for making furniture around here. I will need to make furniture for local supply to my plebs, but it's not going to be a starting concern. What is rather nice is since that I fully intend to go for Grand Insulae, we don't need to worry about mergers. Sure, they're always nice, but as we proceed into the mid to late game of this city, all of our plebs are going to merge anyway. This rock right here, or this elevation, is particularly scandalous, And so is this part, because it's going to make it very awkward for how this all sneaks in. But sneak in it shall. I'm also thinking I will open up Carthaga Nova, because they also buy pottery. And whilst it might seem like I have plenty of exports going, there is no good reason not to get going with the olives as well. If I put these down, I'll need 4 olive thingamajiggers. And I think this is actually better placed for a warehouse than a workshop. I mean, where else would a warehouse go? Oh, it would go right here. That doesn't leave me any real good place for extra. There you go. This one will take the pottery and the oil. This one will take the furniture and the weapons. And I will need oil workshops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that should make us boom dollar. Although it also costs a lot of employees, which I do not currently have. It's a shadow granary. I gotta say, the staying power of Coronation Street's fun. Nobody could have seen it. Right, how's this even going to be? This is probably going to be my main pleb block, so I need to put a bit of thought into it. Sometimes I feel like I'm over meticulous with how I design my cities in this game, but it's how I like to play. I'm not going to play it differently just because I think people want to see it in a different way. Sometimes I get those thoughts when I'm streaming. I'm like, should I really do it this way? You know, people aren't going to like that. And then I think, whoa, this whole stream isn't based on what other people might like. And then all those negative thoughts go away. This might be a little big for a block, but I'm thinking granary goes right about here. And I farm that. I should check if this is actually viable for farming. I mean, I know it's viable for farming, but is it viable for my kind of farming? I'll probably want as close to 10 wheat farms as I can jam around here. Oh, that is awkward. I would rather get my farm there and there. That might mean that I want my granary here, which is very undesirable for this other block I'm making. So granary would go here, 1, 2, 3. You come into there, granary offshoots from here. And granary has potential to go down and feed more plebs here. Workable, but I'm not sure I like it. Even so, we're going to stick with it. Now let's go. Wow, that's a block. It's a block for sure. Okay, so it's going to come along into there. Well, no time like the present. Let's get started. I need more population. There's a good setup here for having... Oh god, tell me I've got statues. Phew! No plaza, we've got statues. There's a good setup here for a double fountain, medium plaza, decorative setup. Potentially even a large statue? No. Okay, well, we can live without that, as the case may be. It's actually a pretty great place for a bunch of medium... Grand Insulae, rather. Okay, we can work with this. Engineer post, 2 prefectures, because you never trust fire. Never ever trust fire. And a doctor, and we'll just preemptively set up a granary. And that's going to be a place to just dump extra people for now, because I need population. We're down to 60 workers. Demon ruined the fund for the poor. Oh, is it closed now? I'll have a quick check over at that then. So, 58% of the points come from people who feel that this is the season for giving. And 42% of the points are people who elect this season for receiving. But the numbers of people are off here. A majority of people prefer to receive rather than give this festive period. The biggest saint is Barcode Battler and the biggest Grinch is Ninjan. Oh my days. True colours revealed. Well, we'll be able to check the numbers on that once we're done with Caesar 3. Wow, Ninja booze. All for throwing those stones in Japanese houses. Yeah, tear down those paper doors. Oh, that was a very convenient merger. That was a very, very convenient merger. Oh, we got a hat trick. What will be 4 in a row? A freaking miracle. That is beautiful. Oh, my gamer senses were way up there for that one. So, I can't imagine you're watching this and you're not familiar with Caesar 3, but a merger is when 2x2 housing forms out of 4 1x1s, and it's really convenient. It's almost always a wonderful thing to happen. And the odds of it happening are something like 4 or 5 out of 9. It's based on the tile that the northern part of the 2x2 is on. It's not random, but it might as well be random. Right, we are still in a state of underemployment, so I need yet more plebeians. More plebes are needed. And we're just going to shove them in and let God sort them out. I don't know which God, but one of them. Yeah, this might actually be a bit tight on population. Not a lot of space to build up with, but we'll get it done. Ninja, I know you have millions of points, you're a true Grinch. Yeah, but that's how people get millions of anything. They don't just discard them willy-nilly for such weak things as sentiment. Okay, the money situation is looking fantastic, thanks to a very heavy early focus on industry. Where's my oil? Oh, it's just that they haven't squeezed it all out yet. I'd like to see a video on how oil is made sometime. I don't think I fully understand it. Surely it's not as simple as just crushing them, right? Because then you'd end up with juice. Well, maybe it is. Otherwise you'd end up with things like seed juice. I don't know. There's a lot of things in the world that I don't understand how they work. But a lot of cases I'm happy to not understand how they work. Ignorance is truly bliss. Surely not, there's only a 4,500 pop target. Good point, Baron. We played on a much smaller map with... Oh, Christ, what was Illustrajon's Pocket City called? Oh, Crivens, help me out. It wasn't All That Glitters. It wasn't Pocket City. A Very Little Lamb, thank you. Very Little Lamb had 3,500 population goal. But the land wasn't quite so... awkward. I mean, it was tiny, but I wouldn't call it awkward. We have lots of money, and I really think it's military time. There's not a lot of good space for it here. There is, I would dare to say, no good space for it. I actually think this warehouse is superfluous given the rate at which we're selling goodies. So I am actually going to have all of the goods thrown into here, and I'm going to set up a barracks, and I'm going to set up some forts, because I would hate to get jumped. This is a nice central position to... Is it though? It's not really, is it? Because they have to come down and they can't get in here. This is my best central position. So let's start out with that. I'm going to make one fort for legionaries as close to the stairway as I can. It doesn't really matter, but I need to make sure they can get around this thing. Huh, they can't. That's kind of funny. Oh, but they could if I put it here, right? 1, 2, yeah, that should do fine. And then an additional fort for javelins here. That way, if they ever don't have the materials to make additional legionnaires, they can make some javelins instead. I will want a military academy. I don't know where it's going to go yet, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. He's thinking, boy, I wish I had some marble to make oracles already. That's what he's certainly thinking. Go figure, the rocks around here aren't good for mining. It's an interesting thing that elevated land doesn't work, but rocks do. Fortunately, there's just a little touch of rock over here. So I'm actually going to have a very cheeky... This is very cheeky. Bit of marble production right here. No one is going to like it. Well, I'll like it. Boy, I do not like that. It gets in the way of too much. How about... we don't come out like that. Come out like this. I could even come out one bit more if I were feeling real foolhardy, which I am. And then you're actually going to go and rub up against them like so. Get some engineering, get some prefecturing. And there you go. That is an awful place for you, but it's temporary, right? This is kind of like making a tiny little factory for making, no, I don't know, inserters in Factorio. Fire it, forget it, and eventually come back and grab all the inserters that you need. Factorio is really on my mind. It's kind of like a brain parasite tunneling in, but I'm thinking about the game a lot. And I'm really excited about running a Super Death world. This Olive Oil Mafia does some adulterating for fun and profit. I believe that's Avocado Oil Mafia. But maybe there's also a mafia for the olives. Wouldn't know. Perhaps I don't want to. Sounds like an easy way to be sank to the bottom of the Bay of Biscay. I like that satisfying good chunk. Recht. Still need that military academy. Fun fact, it can be anywhere. Meaning it could be up here. What's this for forts anyway? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, that's actually pretty nice. Because what I can do is I can place a military academy right here. Just give it a couple bits of road here. Probably needs a bit more than a couple, but as long as there's space for fortification here. Might be a little extreme, all things considered. Screw it, we'll worry about such things later. For now, take an engineer and a prefecture just to not burn down. A little inefficient, but I've got plenty of money and we even have plenty of hands on deck to help out. So, nice thing is these guys actually get labor, because when you sweep for labor, you do a 2 radius sweep, and these tents are within that reach. It's not that simple, but it might as well be. That means our new soldiers are going to be academy trained once they go and get their training there, which they will. And we'll have an actual army if they decide to get an early attack. Hasn't been that early, thankfully. The Emperor is most displeased with you. I can't even give him a half-decent gift because my own salary is god-awful, but hopefully if he demands something, I'll be able to give it to him no problem. Because I can give him almost anything right now. Right, food production. What happened to all the... What happened to all the sheep? There were a bunch of sheep here. I remember earlier thinking, ugh, what an annoying bunch of sheep. Where did they go? Perhaps that is the sheep that once were. Right, we need food. A lot of food. Food production is the real making of a Caesar 3 player, because of all the goods in this game, it's really the hardest to manage. Food does not travel well in Caesar 3. I'm trying to think of the best design here. This is very, very awkward. But it's actually well placed here if I wanted to expand it down and go around. Which I do. I can get quite a lot out of it like this. The proof of the pudding will be in the generating of labor for this. Sadly, this game does not subscribe to the idea of child labor being good. Could actually bring it down and around and over here, could we? Not quite, that doesn't count as a straight bit of river. Yeah, we should tell the plebs what you think this food grows on trees. Well, not all of this particular food does. wish I'd pushed this down one, but it would have made for a bit of a jaunty angle on this. Everything actually could have been pushed down one, would have made things more efficient. One of the more frustrating things is that there's not a very good opportunity for experimentation in this game when building. Anything you build, you're committed to, except for the last thing you built can be undone with the undo button. Many things override that though. But I can forgive a lot of this game because this game came out in... when again? A wee while ago. Right, this is actually a pretty good labour loop, except there's no labour, which is kind of vital to a labour loop. I'm going to slam down these guys here with an engineer post and no fewer than 2 prefectures, because if the prefect ever goes walkies, he's not going to actually go and take care of all this. There's also a little bit of space here for something else that I might want, but anyway, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9... 10, 11, did I count that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's very good. That's enough food to feed 3,520 people there. That's pretty much our population goal. And there's more arable land down here and over here. So I'm pretty confident on the whole feeding people front. But it's never that simple. Why would it be? 98 or 99 more than 20 years ago. To think Final Fantasy X came out not long after this. Frightening prospects all around. There we go, we have Academy trained units, which we've of course renamed. Quite a while ago I went into the game files and I renamed all of the military units to names of important members of the Caesar 3 community around here. Sadly, this was before the likes of Kiryu, otherwise he certainly would have gotten a band. Probably replacing the Uras, since Afdish kind of gets 2 with his finest and his Uras. These are some well-in-baked jokes by now. Right, population is getting dangerously high because my gods are not happy. They feel that they are underappreciated, but that's the power of the Oracle's job to fix. There's an amazing place for the Oracle right here. If we go 1, 2... 1, 2. I'd love to have it here, but it's just outside of the range of being seen to, so... I'll go there. Yeah, we've got potential. So I'm gonna put the Oracle here. That gives us potential for a house merger here, and a house merger here. And it's going to affect a lot of these people with a very high amount of desirability. Which is great. We love desirability. On reflection, I wish I'd put it out a little bit further in this direction. How much do I wish that? Enough to undo my Oracle and rebuild it there. The reason I pushed it out more was because there's a prime location right here for a large statue or even a governor's residence, and that will give good desirability around here. So I pushed it out more to affect this region more. I want this space for something. There is probably a possibility for a similar approach there. And there. Ooh, this elevation might not be as inconvenient as I thought. Merry Christmas, this is comfy, says young McScruff. Well, I hope you're at least half as comfy as I am, because I'm almost in some kind of ham coma. Midway through yesterday, I was thinking about going full Grinch mode. No decorations, no festive meal, no nothing like that. But at the final hour, I went, no, this cannot be. And I went out and got myself a big old ham. And I woke up nice and early this morning to boil that ham in cola, along with chopped apples, onions, carrots, cloves, cinnamon sticks. Boiled that for 2.5 hours and then roasted it, glazing it with a mix of grade A Canadian maple syrup, mustard, and vinegar. Yeah, nothing says Christmas to me quite like a delicious Christmas ham. If I had to choose between the turkey or a ham, then I'd probably flip a coin because they're both great. Boiling meat in cola is a great trick. Not only cola, I used the patriotic choice ninja, and you know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean. One of the only countries where Coca-Cola is not the most sold drink, although that only applies at Easter and Christmas. One of the other countries is Scotland. Iron Brew defeats Coca-Cola back in the homelands. So all hail Bar. Yeah, I've never tried boiling a ham in Iron Brew, but now that the idea is out there, I will endeavour to do that next year. Although, if I'm in Hungary or Japan, God knows how I'm getting my hands on... you generally want at least 2.5 to 3 litres of the stuff, so how I'm getting my hands on that, I don't know. I had Iron Brew square sausage, not bad. Now that's a very Scottish meal right there. Right, we are backing up with goods here. That's good and bad in not quite equal measure. Means we have to make a call on somebody going bye-bye. That somebody could be Neptune. And it will be. Neptune's going, you're going, and we're getting rid of this. And with that, we're slamming the warehouse down over here, and this warehouse will accept the pottery and the oil. You will not accept the pottery and the oil, and that oil workshop is getting moved over hither. That also creates a gap for people to move through to get to these. And Neptune will be very surly with me if I don't rebuild his... temple goes where? Temple goes where? Temple goes... I mean, there are plenty of options. I'm just trying to size up which is the best option. Does my intense load of gamer instinct tell me? Well, I'm just going to slam it there, not overthink it. Temples are surprisingly cheap. Probably because you need 5 of them at any one go, so it's 250 total. Hams will be cheap after Christmas, Jake. Just do it now. Yeah, but I don't know where I can get Iron Brew in Sweden. And secondly, I've got like 2 kilos of ham over in the kitchen right now. I'm going to be eating that stuff for a month. And it's going to be great. Carve the thing up, keep some in the fridge, freeze some, and then just have it whenever I'm overcome with the need for ham. Which is surprisingly often. Wow, the wife played a board game with me, and now there's Caesar. If I wasn't heading to the in-laws, this would be a perfect Christmas. That's quite funny, thank you. Right, these people need food. Red Warrior needs food badly. Marketplace, marketplace, oh, marketplace. Leaves me with a very uncomfortable bit here. However, if you just do a little bit of a jiggery-pokery here, we can have space for 2x2 right here. Will it merge? I don't know. But I think it will. I'm going to try it, because I like mergers. Also, we get our first Nicky of the game.
I work hard. I like to play hard. But I can't here. There's nothing to do for fun.
This isn't Nicky, but this is.
I've got nowhere to live. I've been thrown at my own.
I like those nice bugle. Oh, no, Nicky's had a change of heart. He's actually going to move back into the place I just made. So he gets his little canvas tent after all. We have underemployment again, but that's okay. We're going to fix all of that by watering and feeding these people. There is an immense growth in the amount of people you can handle if you just water your Romans. Well, water and feed your Romans. Does this merge? This does not merge. Do we care? Yes and no. It's a very awkward shape here that I'm going to have to... Wait, didn't I put down a reservoir? Dog? I need to slaughter a lot of sheep for what it's worth. And it's not easy going getting to this island. Actually, why? Why is this not... Why am I not able to build some... bridge? Okay, there we go. Oh, something off was happening there. Maybe I selected ship bridge by accident. I'm building up these bridges so that I can move my troops around and slaughter the sheep. Now, I would understand that some people probably like to keep the sheep alive on their maps. I don't share this opinion. Sheep get in the way. They're really annoying to build around because you can't build on top of them, but if you build near them, they move. So we're going to dispatch them with Aftish's finest. That gives the Pepper's Quakers plenty of time to bulk up. And lets us exercise our sword arms, which I would like to claim is a real mechanic in this game, but it is not. 90-degree angle bridges, Roman thighs or something. They probably really were. And they had those incredibly uncomfortable sandals to wear. I don't know how they managed that on campaign. There we go. It's mutton for dinner tonight. So, hats off to our map maker here, Joss V. They knew that to put financial pressure on the player, you should have Rome increase wages. That means you have to fight to keep up with it. I will not right now. I will make sure that our people simply live freely, not having to pay taxes. That way they don't care that they don't get particularly competitive salary. I call it the living in Hungary approach. I would assume Iron Brew is a bit less harsh on the teeth than Coke, since Iron Brew hasn't proven to be a decent toilet cleaner yet. Have you tried Iron Brew? I assure you would not be having such opinions if you had. Right, these sheep are every shade of dead, and the reason I wanted to do that was so that I could freely place my reservoir right here. Yeah, no, that covers just about anything I could want. And there's great opportunity for placing an additional reservoir right here. Unpopular for the people living here, no doubt. So I'll try and keep it as far away as I can. Unfortunately, it's going to need an additional reservoir right here because it needs to be adjacent to the water. I wonder if people get tired of me explaining Caesar 3 mechanics over and over, but the way I see it, there are going to be people who come in and this is the first time they see the game. Or even if they don't, they're not familiar with the mechanics, whereas I know Caesar 3 mechanics almost inside out. There are people out there who know this game better than me, scary as that might seem. Right, we are doing excellent financially, so we will invest those finances into more legionnaires. This is a fantastic place to house some. And by some, I mean I can fit 2 whole forts here. We'll just slam them both down. That kind of nullifies this as a living area. But I want them close to be able to react to attacks here. And I'll certainly want some around here too. Well, I certainly wanted one built over here. And I can build the final one over here later on. For now though, that's plenty of openings. Just going to use up a lot of my weapons, but the industry seems to be flowing very well right now. I'm surprised. I thought industry would have dried up far quicker than it did. Caesar 3 is a CEO simulator. You pump and dump each city before it all comes crashing down. Something I like to do in my spare time is build eternal cities in Caesar 3. I don't stream it because it's... I got no problem saying that it's very boring. Well, only boring people get bored, as I like to say. Even so, it's far from the most exciting thing I can imagine. Although you don't want to know what that is. Right, there we go. Good labor access with a single merger. I don't want you to be tense forever, but you'll be tense for now. I hate using labor access with tense, so I like to get them up to at least a small casa. So, eternal cities, ones that you can run completely hands-off, as in you just watch, do nothing, and it will remain stable. No fires, no breakdowns, no problems, no riots. I find it very satisfying to see once all is said and done. Is that going to merge? No, the mergers aren't a big deal. I'm not going to be fishing for them for a while. You should always leave one alive so they know what you could have done to them. So there we go. Single sheep can remain to tell the tale of what happened to all of other sheep kind. Right, I desperately need to get these people watered. I was humming and hawing about it because good placement of fountain here is going to be rather difficult. But we shouldn't shy away from things just because they're difficult, should we? I'll have something here. Something here. Here and here. And then it should be very clear who has water and who does not. And up they go. They're going to go all the way to Small Hovel, but we shouldn't be satisfied with that if we give them simple access to a theatre, and similarly simple access to a library. And I all of a sudden hesitate on the library because there's not a good path through here if I build it right there. If I build it here, there's an awkward single tile gap. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. We can stomach a 1 tile gap. Later on, we might do away with it, but for now, I don't want to have to route everybody through awkward placement. Oh well, I opened my mouth, didn't I? Mediolanum don't want all that furniture anymore, meaning I can happily downscale furniture production. Otherwise, we're going to be drowning in furniture, like we're drowning in Tyrian gift subs. Are you using granaries instead of gatehouses? Why would I use gatehouses? It's good to know that Tyrion is still alive. That man has been doing nothing but driving trains for 2 years solid, which is exactly why he has not yet finished his leg of the Mario Marathon. Trim down my production of furniture. I should probably trim it down another time or else I'm going to end up with far too much of the stuff. Exactly why, and for no other reason. There we go. Merry Christmas to you, Tyrion, although you probably celebrated yesterday. Something profoundly wrong with these, well, I would say continentals, but I don't consider Scandinavia as part of the continent. Not in the same way I would say Germany. I'm going to trim off some of these small tents just because I don't like them. Otherwise, I didn't give water access here. I thought I did. Oh, right, well, I did, but it's so undesirable next to these marble mines, even though I've got you there. So, it's time for the power of Giant Statue. Giant Statue's going to whip these people into shape. And on top of that, I can water them. 1, 2, 3, 4... Gonna grab this crummy tent, replace it with a fountain, and now people have... Oh, look at that. Look at the luxury. Water on your doorstep. In a good way. Should have anticipated this, but I did not. Toga Boy has demands, and he's throwing his first one at me. 8 is an awkward number. Well, it's not awkward, it's really good, but it's not a number you often see. People usually give requests in 10, 15, 20. 8 is of course better. If you ever use numbers, use 2 to the power. With that in mind, I'm going to make sure that I have 8 of any good on hand, just in case that's how they're going to structure their requests from now on. And we can stomach a temporary reduction in exports. Listen, we have it right here in the Scandies. Christmas Eve makes way more sense to celebrate than Christmas Day. I don't follow that. I mean, let's face it, Christmas is for the kids. Wouldn't you rather they get the whole day to enjoy their Christmas gifts by letting them open them on Christmas Day morning, rather than having them up way too late on Christmas Eve night playing with their Legos or TIE Fighters or whatever kids get for... They probably get copies of Minecraft these days. God, I heard from some distant relative, or I heard of some distant relative, that they're now into Minecraft. But I suppose I'm to blame for that. I got my mother into Minecraft. When Minecraft came out, you were able to buy the game with the promise that you would get all future updates for free, so I bought a bunch of copies back then, and that must have been 2008? Maybe early 2009? I can't remember. It was late into InfDev, way after InDev. Oh man, InDev was the days. But before Grandpa gets too grouchy in his wheelchair here, at some point I decided, hey, Mother might like this. Mother is a gamer, of course, I come from a family of gamers, and she got hooked big time. God knows how many hours she has sunk into Minecraft, and now it spreads further. But yeah, in dev was the days. Microsoft has killed Java Edition proper. Accounts are now accounts are enforced. I've had countless emails telling me to link my Microsoft account, and I obstinately continue to not do that because that is not what I bought. You have water access, do you? No, you don't have water access. Well, no water, no life. We get another Nicky.
I've got nowhere to live.
I mean, I wouldn't mind having a Microsoft account if Microsoft accounts weren't so cancerous. I was a bit appalled for someone to install an OS and it says, please link up your Microsoft account here. Everything's just accounts. Okay, now I really am turning into old man mode here, but that's fine. I'm playing an old man game here, Caesar 3. Can feel the grey hairs come in as I play this. Now, there's a bit of a problem, and the problem is my librarian. He's not making good rounds for some reason. In fact, where the hell is my librarian? There you
I
are.
hope I don't lose my job. Unemployment is so high here, I wouldn't get another.
It's funny because you are about to lose your job. The walker system is essentially random. It's not, but 99.9% of the time, just accept that it is random. A walker has 4 different paths that they can take, and they can be the same one. And in this case, the librarian is doing nothing but walking down here, giving library access to everybody it walks past. And then just as they come close to the granary, they go, nah, you know, I'm a bit tired. I need to go back and finish this copy of War and Peace. And they're never walking down this way, which is why these people are stuck in hobbles. Augustus now shows you where the walkers will go. I know, I heard of that Baron, it sounds so good. But I can't be dragged over to Augustus so freely. My heart is not that fickle. So I'm going to move the librarian down 2 spaces and hope that they actually make a proper loop would be good. I hope this isn't just too big for a loop. So momentarily the librarian will pop out, and I'm hoping they go south. They don't, they go north. Then I'm hoping they actually complete the loop. Augustus is a fan-made, essentially, version of Caesar 3, but bigger, better, more bells and whistles. It's very impressive what's done with the game, but it's not for me. I like my Caesar 3 to be intensely vanilla. That's why I like Julius, because it is vanilla Caesar 3. And the only thing it has is quality of life improvement. It changes nothing of the gameplay. In fact, it very aggressively changes nothing of the gameplay. There have been some incredibly minute differences reported in the past, and they have been, in quotation marks, fixed. Right, Toga Boy's getting way on my case here. I'm going to start giving him all singing, all dancing, modest gifts. Otherwise, I don't want the boys in blue to turn up and level my beloved city. I swear this librarian hates me. He's not going and dealing with these hobbles at all. Perhaps it'd be a good weekly one-shot? What, you mean Augustus? I've played Augustus. Not on stream, but I've played it in my own time, and I just went, well, this is good and very cool, but not for me. I also wonder that this loop's just not getting done properly, because these people aren't getting fed, are they? Now they are. I think the market ladies just needed to rotate the goods. I missed that. Enemies are already at the door. Well, that's particularly bad if they show up here, because I got no real way to react to that. If they're here, though, they're going to get hopefully curb stomped by my armies, which are being built up nicely. I'm going at this awfully slowly, though, I will concede. I'll get rid of crummy tents where and when I can. We'll deal with proper mergers later on. And these guys aren't happy because of the lack of desirability. We have the money to fix that, and it is a money issue. Medium statues have a range of 4 and reasonably good desirability, so that gets all these lovely red houses. Casa looks so nice. These are casas here. Better than large casas, that's for sure. Some of these guys are still not particularly happy because of desirability issues here. I wish I could shove a large statue here, but I cannot. Instead, medium statues will Oh, hang on. Never mind a medium statue. You could be an all-powerful oracle. The positioning of this road gives just enough range for a prefect and an engineer to see to the oracle. Statues never fall down or burn of their own accord, but oracles do. And there we go, the librarian has finally stopped spiting me. Have some extra gardens. We don't have plaza, but we do have gardens. There we go. Lovely casa, loads of unemployment, which means we're going to burn down Tent Town, and we're going to start taxing people. I say burn down, but I usually don't completely torch Tent Town. I usually leave a few tents just to give labor access, if nothing else. And that's exactly what I will do. They won't need... Tell you what, if I get rid of you, then I can get rid of everything on this inner bit, which includes my temple to Ceres. Certain Ceres won't be happy about that. So there we go, Nickies galore.
I've been thrown at my own.
And it barely made a dent in the unemployment. Toga Boy is happy because I sent him his weapons. Let's just get rid of all of this stuff here. We're going to re-erect the temple to Ceres right here. And knowing that this is a potential battleground, we should probably do something about that, shouldn't we? Yes. But what? I don't know. Truthfully, I'd like to tear this down and make it a proper defensive thing. I do want my city to look good and not just be functional as time goes on. Ah, come on. There's no way the first attack would be so harsh that I desperately need walls and towers to deal with it. All in all, the map is seeming rather tame so far. Although perhaps semblances are just being hoodwink. First time chat 26 months ago. That's some impressive lurking, says Bane Williams on Make My Day. Coming out of lurkhood just to say Merry Christmas, I gotta say I respect the hustle, as I believe the kids would say these days. Right, it's getting to the point where I'm gonna have to start thinking about really leveling these poor sods up. But there's not a lot of space with which to do so. I might make a little bit of an awkward augmented design here, especially since the population requirement is so low. But the less distance these markets have to go, the better. So how am I thinking about that? I'm thinking we put in something of an appendix here that reaches out to something here. I don't know what that something is yet, but there are some very awkward things about this. For example, I need a lot of entertainment, a theatre and an amphitheatre. Oh god, they need a lot of things, don't they? Maybe I'll settle for large in Chile instead of grand. Because otherwise feeding these buggers is going to be a royal pain in the beeswax. Alternative approach. I could have a more modest plebeian area here, which includes the... do I have space for it? Yes I do. Right, so amphitheatre here, actor colony and gladiator thing here, additional granary here that gets fed vegetables from over here. Yeah, this could work. Okay, great. If you're going to do appendixing, do it early, because God knows the effect it's going to have on your walkers. There's a lot of quality of life stuff I'd love out of Augustus and Julius, but one of the absolute cornerstones of Julius development is save game compatibility with the original Caesar 3. Very respectable goal. So I won't have a bad word said about that. Right, so... this isn't good enough. I want a granary here. Ugh, that itself might not be good enough because... that's a long way for my vegetable haulers to go. But it's a long way for market people to go. Probably better for the veggie guys to take the longer route. Ugh, it's unpleasant. It's very unpleasant. What's my alternative? I know, my alternative is a getting granary. There is nothing wrong with a getting granary, except that they're really rubbish. But this should be justifiable. And that means the other granary goes there. Here? Undesirable, but needs must. A design is coming together in my head. That's something I love about playing Caesar 3 is it's good brain food. I always feel that the old noggin is jogging when designing. Ooh, wow, nicely hidden bits of arable land here, although a very annoying small rock. You'd think Marek added that. Yeah, feels like good brain food playing this game. Always having to think and adapt designs. I suppose it depends how you play this game. Some people maybe enjoy it playing the game just slamming down preset designs, but me, no thank you. Well, this is awkward, but Armin go in here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's not enough for our people. That's essentially 5. No, I need more. I need something like 7 or 8 of them. 8 would keep me happy, that's for sure. Okay, good. I put vegetable farms. I thought I put wheat farms there. There's a good chance I'll need to come and redesign this later on, but I just want something up and operational for now. Hey, cool little place to sneak in a wee engineer here. We are going to need some quite paranoid amount of prefecting, because fire kills productivity. And for now I'm just going to shove in Tent Town. I'll get them the labor that they require. We shove a few more of them over here. Hopefully we get a merger. Is there a reason why it's precisely 87% prosperity rating? I can't think of any good reason. 87%. The fact that it's above 80 necessitates patricians, and the fact that it's not a lot above 80 means that you have a reasonable choice between lots of patricians and lots of low-level housing, or very high-level plebeian housing and a very small sprinkling of patricians. So in a sense, 87 is a great number. But you're right, it's a very awkward number, isn't it? It's not even, it's not to the power of anything, well, not an integer at least. Yeah, just an all-round awkward number.
I've been thrown at my own.
We don't have access to wells, so I can't cheaply water these people, but that's not a concern anyway. Prefecturing is always a concern. Let's turn that off and let's make sure this is only good for vegetables, lest it get flooded with wheat, which is not what we're after. And you need to be told to get vegetables. You'll get them from there, and then the marketplaces will grab it. And then there'll be two food types available. It was a little early to go for 2 food types, but given the density of this map, I wanted that taken care of nice and early. Get that actor colony operational, because I know I'm going to need it, and I'll only forget about it if I don't do it. It's a great temptation to put my gladiatorial school over here, and there's just the room for it. Going out and training on the vegetable farms, probably a good way to stamp the ground flat and make it better for cultivating. Unnecessary now, but I'm just getting it set up. I'm taking things pretty easy on this map. It seems quite straightforward. Of course, it just takes Here's your onslaught of 240 Carthaginians. Plus local raiders. Boy, that would throw me. When does Santa Claus show up? Or is this a Jesus map mod for Caesar 3? Well, Jesus is going to show up in 495 years, so just hold out. That's not an unreasonable length of time to run an Eternal City for, because it takes a long time for demographics to smooth out. Right, so these people are going to require pottery. I'm going to level these guys up as much as I can. Ideally, I can get them to large insulae, because then they will force merge, and that makes it a lot easier to plan. But that requires a lot of goods. Thankfully, we already produced them all, which allows me to get off my back room. Toga boy knows where to hurt me. Right. I am going to make do with a single warehouse doing this, which is risky. But you're going to get pottery, furniture, and oil. You'll get them all from over there, and on top of that, I'm going to up my exports to over 16. That means 8 will be in the secondary warehouse, and 8 will be in the primary warehouse. Again, that's not right. Again, Augustus gives a lot of control over this. Oh god, not weapons. Weapons we don't care so much about. Even so, I like to make do with limited tools. It's like Factorio. There's a lot of mods that give you tools in Factorio that you don't get in the base game, but I find a big point of that game is to make elegant solutions with limited tools. That said, could we please get radars that have longer range? Because the sheer amount of radars it takes to fully light up a base is insane. I have a late game base, and the largest consumer of power after beacons is radars. Just because I wanted full vision on my entire base. Lucky shouldn't be buying from the new warehouse because these are closer, and it's also the trade center.
I don't know why I bother with this route. They don't buy anything or have anything they want to sell me. A good day to you. Can I interest you in some top quality goods? I don't know why I bother with this route.
Duality of Lucky. Oh, that's right. Rome increased wages, and we didn't keep up, so I think some people are a little unhappy with me over that. Oh, well, now we've definitely got some people who are unhappy with me. Enemies of Rome are at the outskirts of your city, and they're attacking exactly where I didn't want them to, and they're Iberian warriors. Fan of gaming the Pain has come to live up to his name. Well, if that's how you're going to play it, I'm going to further reduce my production of furniture because it's really piling up right now. And you guys can't deploy there quickly, can you? You'd have to go out and round. Well then. One positive thing about Iberians is that they are, if I recall well, quite weak. I'm gonna get you guys involved just in case. I'm also hoping they don't come for an immediate attack. So it looks like I'm gonna have to redesign my defensive ideas here. Oh god, they're getting a bit aggressive, aren't they? Slow down there. Oh god, out goes the prefect. Okay. We're just gonna have to go mash into them, it seems.
I'm not paid enough to fight. The city's defenses should never have let the enemy through.
Yeah, the city should have had some defenses to start with, I would dare to say, but in comes the human shield.
This soldier's too strong for me.
Well, down he goes. Right, so fortunately for us, the Iberians like to use projectile attacks, and when you use the column formation, you are almost invulnerable to such attacks. Oh, also, Mars has my back. Also, I don't think they are immune to our attacks. I've said it many times before again, and I'll say it again. Caesar 3 is not a military game. Military is there to push you on advancing your city. the military game, and this is very surface level. It's certainly no Age of Empires. Even so, that's a good push for me to actually have some defense built up here rather than, well, not as we have. So I'm probably going to tear down this industry and replace it with a lovely wall and mounted towers. It's adjacent to the barracks, so there's no problem there, and I've got space to replace the industry that I broke down on the other side. Also, I just saw that demand dropped, didn't it? Yeah, Carthago Nova won't buy so many olives off of me anymore. Still going to keep 2 olive farms up because we're going to need to use olives to advance our people, but I will need to replace the olive gushers that I destroyed, so I think that was 2 of them. That brings us back up to 4. How about pottery workshops? I got 2, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again, might be overkill, but the money situation is okay, so I'm going to leave it be for now. I don't like that, I don't like that. No, there's no good reason for it. Bring back the pottery. We are, however, about to wall ourselves in. Not entirely, though. We will want a gatehouse. I even want 2 gatehouses, although gatehouses represent a weak point in your armor. There we go. I like it when your walls actually link in with your city in some way. Some people like to do this, for example. They just go, there we go. We know it's an invasion point, so they just wall it off, fill it with towers, and destroy whatever comes in. Unfortunately, that's a necessity on some maps, because you just get utterly inundated. However, wherever possible, I like to do something like this. It's an actual entrance to the city with sensible gate towers and gatehouses and towers. And to make matters better, there's my barracks right there ready to fill it up. After all, it's a city builder. And I firmly uphold that if a city builder doesn't look good, it's not worth its salt. That's not the same as graphical fidelity. It's much more on the style of the game. That's why this game has such a lasting... Oh, okay. Maybe I was a bit too quick to assume that my finances were fine. Rome is reducing the price of the pottery, and my exports are being reduced rather than increased. Unfortunate. What I'm gonna do, with all this in mind, is... I'm gonna... Kinda want to put you down here, but I don't want to lose that little road access that we have. I see it now. Workshop, oil, bang. Current oil workshop goes away. New warehouse gets erected right here. And this workshop exclusively takes pottery, and you no longer take pottery. That should spread things out quite a bit better. Would you like a Caesar 3 map where it's calculated near perfectly the amount of money you would need to spend in order to win the mission, says Marcus? I uphold that such a thing would not be possible. There are too many variables involved in money generation and money spending that you could not reasonably calculate that for a map. However, recently, I say recently, I think it was this year, I played a map called Who's Your Toga Boy? A fiendishly difficult desert map, although not to toot my own horn, I did defeat the map. Now, whenever I get sent a map, I usually seek out permission, but sometimes I don't. I post it up on the Caesar 3 forum, a place full of oldies that love to continue to play and talk about this game. And there are some people out there who they eclipse me comfortably in terms of skill at this game, but one in particular, I think they were called Eraserhead. Eraserhead's a prestigious player of this game. They picked up that same map, and normally they complete their maps to an incredibly high standard. No debt, maximum housing levels everywhere, very clean wins. And even they had to take on debt to beat that map. It was so hard. Financially, that is. Speaking of such issues, let's start collecting some delicious tax revenue. I'm going to slam down a forum, I'm going to set tax rate to 8%, and I'm going to make wages slightly higher than Rome's. Toga Boy was such a good map. I don't think it was. It was a malicious, sadistic map. Our marketplace is yet to grab any pottery, so there's no point giving these people bathhouse access. Also, what's your problem? Oh, I see, I see. You don't get market ladies coming around. That's not a problem, though. That's a problem. Let's not delete the freaking source of water for them.
I've been thrown on my own.
Nicky just died there as well because he couldn't escape, surrounded by mountains and other people's homes. Probably drowned himself in the fountain. He looked into the water and saw an idol concert and jumped right in. I don't want to skimp on defenses, so I see a solution now. I'm going to get rid of you. I'm going to get rid of this road a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring it out like so. The reason I'm doing this is to allow my olive farm to be placed here. And that will give these troops a free way down to quickly respond to any threat here. On top of that, I still want one more fort. This is actually a tempting place for it. Where are my patricians going to go? I'm thinking of having more plebs here. I guess the patricians aren't going to be far off the plebs, so I don't need a specific patrician block. Even so, where are my final fighters going to go? I want this to be a conceivable wall into my city. Oh yeah, they were going to go here, weren't they? Yes. And you no longer work, which is bad. How much squeezing can I do here? However you cut it, I need the full area here if I want my second fort there. I put my military academy in just the wrong place. Just barely. Not inconceivable. I wonder if this will even work. It might not. I don't think this will work the way I want it to, but I'm going to do it anyway. There we go. If somebody goes there, they might just get a tiny lick of labor, but I'm not sure. Well, we'll soon find out. What is that, a one-tile road? Yeah. Wait, for some reason, that doesn't work for you. Counts as boxed in. Well, there you go. There's your not boxed in situation. That's a lot of legionnaires. Normally I don't have this many, but normally I don't get such generous access to resources. Gods are all happy. I'm not happy though, because Rome just increased my bill even more. I have vague memories of a map where the briefing describes Caesar needing wine to refill his frequently thrown goblets and marble to rebuild the chipped pillar of said goblets. The map you're thinking of, Six Sock, is... what was it called again now? Wine. What the world was it called? Whoa, let's not quit anything here. In fact, since I haven't saved it forever, let's... I don't even have it saved here, and I save all my games. Fueling Caesar's alcoholism, thank you. How could I forget that? I really tidied up my list of saves here. There's all of my saves that I'm very happy with, as well as some other people's saves which I appreciate and study. Trollgoo is one of the greatest Caesar 3 players known to man. He builds impeccably good cities. Whisperwind is another one of them. Cicero's pretty good. Bruegel is the best though. Hands down, Bruegel is the best Caesar 3 player in existence. But none of them stream their buildings. They're all done slow and meticulously, sometimes over the course of months. Right, this is, Joss. Do we get underscores? No, we don't. Alright then, Joss V. Stream in progress. I'm just saving now because it occurs to me that I haven't saved at all. I've never had Julius crash on me, but I don't plan on starting now. Yeah, Fueling Caesar's Alcoholism was made by Illustrajon, a very talented Caesar 3 map maker. Stands to reason though, the man's an artist. Right, they should finally be getting access to pottery. Market lady.
I have to collect more supply. The market is out.
Oh god, they're busy getting vegetables. These people shouldn't be eating vegetables, they'll only eat one type of food because they're low-level housing, and that food will be wheat. But Still don't like the way they're operating. Jake, how do you know who is the best player? What is the way to calculate that? With a tournament or something? No, nothing of the sort. It's just me looking at all the different cities that people have made and the depth of knowledge and skill that they have at the game. So, no, it's not something that's certifiable, it's just me looking at players going, yep, you're the best around, no one's ever going to keep you down. For example, I have made an error right now. This granary is closer to this market as the crow flies. So the market ladies are going all the way around to this granary rather than just going to this one. That's adding a lot of extra time to them walking around, which I'd rather they did not. Troublesome. So troublesome, in fact, that I'm actually going to move the granary over here. That's going to make my farms more inefficient, but I don't want the market ladies going so incredibly far. So don't accept anything, empty the granary, and have this granary now take those vegetables. And I'll just get rid of this granary once it's empty. Fortunately, vegetables grow slowly, so it shouldn't be too bad, that journey they make. Years ago, there was a contest of sorts in the Emperor Forum for who could make the prettiest city on a Forbidden City map provided by the admin. And there's been similar challenges on the Caesar 3 Haven. In particular, the 50,000 challenge. Build a city with 50,000 people in it, and that's it. That's a very hard goal because the game has an inbuilt limit on the amount of sprites that can be active at any one time. A limit on walkers and a limit on buildings, and if you exceed that, some of the walkers just don't spawn, and then you end up with a city that falls apart. Incidentally, I'm on that list. For a very short time, I had a city of 50,000. But what made my particular entry different was that I used an official map for it. A lot of people just used custom maps where you could, say, fish indefinitely for an infinite amount of fish in a bit of water without your boats even moving. That made feeding people very efficient, both in terms of labor and sprites. One person hacked their map to allow mergers on every tile, so they had just a huge amount of incredibly dense merged small casa, as I recall. An even more interesting challenge was the One Fountain Challenge. So how was it? You were allowed one fountain on a map. That was your only source of water allowed, and you must only have... I think you always had to have at least a large tent as your housing type. So that meant no small tents, and basically every bit of housing had to be fed by this one water source. Very cool challenge, and Bruegel made an immense one for it. You look at it and you wonder how it's even possible. Do I have that map? Bruegel One Fountain. Oh man, now that I'm talking about it, we have to look at it, don't we? We'll just take a temporary step out here to appreciate it. Look at this! How did he do that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 luxury palaces. And plebeians. And there's even unemployment. So not only is everybody at this fountain, that is the entire income and labor pool for the whole city. It is insane, and it uses a lot of little tricks. See if I can point some of them out. Incredibly easy access for docking and fishing. So practically everybody can be fed on these 4 wharves, which is the fastest, most efficient way of generating food in the game, because look at that. They fish because they're right on top of the fishing point, and they immediately drop off their cargo and into the granary it goes. There are a lot of gatehouses situated around the city meant to limit the movement of people. So everything's in these kind of Tetris squiggly lines. So someone walks up and down here giving their services and whatnot, blocked by the gatehouses. But the gatehouses don't block certain walkers. Market ladies go through them, entertainment walkers go through them, and a very important point, destination walkers in general walk through them. So sometimes a civvy will walk for a bit and then their destination will end up taking them through gatehouses. Forced walkers they're often called. Here's a nice little trick. The Hippodrome. It works, but it doesn't work. It doesn't have road access because road access only matters for this square here. However, they can still get into it with the chariots
I've never been past so many unemployed citizens before.
So the chariot, and this is where it gets kind of crazy. The chariots are generated here. They come out of this awkward tile at the back. And then the chariots, if we follow Entertainment Hippodrome, follow this long route around, and they go around the outside, giving their entertainment to just about, well, all of the patricians who need it. And that keeps those luxury palaces well entertained. This is a very awkward setup of roads and gatehouses and such, and it's to force walkers to make certain paths. And the reason that's done is to force the labor walkers coming out of these farms to make a long way around and walk past these houses so they get access to labor. There's 3 reservoirs for that one fountain. The reservoirs aren't just for the fountain, the reservoirs are for the bathhouses. Now, I'm not entirely sure why there are 3 bathhouses. I figured destination walkers would allow... No, I see exactly why. You can't destination walker them with this way. You need them walking way into the center here. Can we get a better view on that? Here. Need them to be able to walk way into the center here to affect some of these which are right up next to the fountain. And on that, the choice of buildings here, the goal was to get maximum population. So even on the corner of the water from the fountain, oh, that's an awkward way to look at it. On this corner here, just this tiny bit here gets water, but that's enough for this entire luxury palace. As we get closer in, we use the large insulae, because it houses 21 occupants per square tile. So that's the most efficient way to have it when you can get a 2x2. And if your only space is 1x1, he uses these medium insulae, which is 20 occupants per tile. It's just magnificent, and I think this is even the theoretical maximum that you could get on a single tile. Of course, it needs to be stable, otherwise you could game it otherwise. For example, you could... Sorry that I'm doing this to your precious city here, Bruegel. You could destroy... that. Let's ignore our Nickies for a moment. The water does reach out to here. Now previously there was one large insulae and one medium insulae here for a total of 104 people. But if you had a 3x3 building here, let's say, what's the largest 3x3 building you can have? A medium palace. That can house like 120 odd people, maybe more. That would get more people, but then you wouldn't have the road access that gets just in enough to give these people services. Magnificent, highly advanced. This is why Bruegel is the best. And I don't know what more there is to say about that. Let's get back to our own paltry city. That's fine. I don't feel any shame about the way I build my cities. Imagine the amount of time he spent on planning this. He has been, for months, maybe even more than months, been working on a hands-free Lugdunum map, meaning that you always have Caesar angry at you, and he always attacks you, and the hands-free part comes from a very elaborate set of towers that always kills the boys in blue, and the boys in blue attack is some serious stuff. Luxury palaces are supposed to require 4 temple types. The engine isn't programmed to handle 4 temples, so it's treated as 0. If you gave them no temple access, they wouldn't devolve, would they? Now I need to remember where I was with this. I'm pretty sure it was bathhouse access, because we have access to pottery and, for some of these, 2 types of food. However, they're also going to want multiple types of entertainment, so I need to slam an amphitheater in here somewhere. This seems like a highly logical place for it. I'm going to get rid of you and have this road come in. This is just to ensure labour access here. However, it's not even needed, so I'm actually going to turn off... screw it, we got the money, I'm just going to delete it. I have all of this very awkwardly placed marble. It's very awkwardly placed, actually. I think I want to move it over here just to get it out of the way. I do appreciate that this is the worst thing I could be doing for it, but... I'm going to do this. I'm going to say that you are emptying and that you are getting that marble. I already regret my setup here, but well. I want this marble all moved over here, and then we're going to have an amphitheater here. They do need access to a bathhouse for the smelly Romans, though. Hopefully this bathhouse is sufficient. And with that, they have almost everything they need. Unfortunately, they're going to require schooling. Schools are awkward to place. Fortunately, this is a good place for a school. It's not going to reach everybody, or rather, it's highly unlikely to reach everybody. School kids have some of the, maybe even the shortest range in the game for spreading their walker ways. Yeah, we got Baron's favourite kind of housing, large casa. A question I like to ask other people who play games is, what's the large casa of this game? Large casa is probably the worst type of housing in the game, not because of any quality issues. It's because to get from small casa to medium, from small casa to large casa, you have to give them pottery. So they start to consume pottery, which isn't free, far from it. But they offer almost nothing in return. They don't pay extra taxes. They don't house a significantly larger amount of people. They don't do that much for your prosperity. But conversely to that, if they step one level higher up to small insulae are amazing. They give a 3 times boost to tax income. They house a lot more people. They're great for prosperity. I am a big small insulae fan. I actually like the look of the large castle, but they're so bleh. I see what you mean there. I like the elongated red tile roof, but this is a game, so their gameplay oh god, I didn't actually want you there. I've actually gotten rid of the utility of this area for a... crumbs. I moved in exactly the wrong place. Well, dang. What am I going to do? What am I going to do after a mess up like that? I'm going to pretend I didn't mess up anything. I'm going to move my forum here. And my forum will be repurposed as an amphitheater. And this house here is going to pay for my crimes. The gladiatorial school and the actor colony will give the amphitheater all the entertainment it needs. Is that enough for... Yeah, Grand Insulae want 35 entertainment, actually. But Grand Insulae, large Insulae will be fine. They're okay with 25. And I can move from large Insulae to Grand at my leisure. Also, that was enemies at the door again. I'm not too worried if they attack here, because it's not near anything that's in danger. And over here we have it defended, so this should all work out fine for us. We'll clear a killing floor. Barracks is working as fast as it can. And these legionnaires are unlikely to die to paltry Iberians. Even this game shares my disgust towards Iberians. It's lovely. School access is, as anticipated, paltry, meaning I'm going to need another school down here. But these guys aren't merging, and they're altogether just in my way, so I'll probably purge them. I don't like purging that. Why did I purge you? No, it needs to be purged around here. Alright, I'll go purge you then. Away you go, and in comes the school. And hopefully that's school access for everybody here. And medium insulae. I really like medium insulae because they carry 20 people each, or 80 in a 2x2, and that's just a really nice number. And once those entertainers continue making their way around, all will be well. This is rather all well. You know, this school almost deals with everybody. How far up do you go? Going. Okay, not far enough. Regrettably. Does mean that I could potentially move my school out here and still have it function fine. In fact, I'm going to toy with that idea right now. There's a lot of experimentation with how you place buildings, courtesy of the Walker system. Sometimes good, often bad. I'm not liking how our amphitheater... Is it our amphitheater guys that are causing the problem? I don't know why they say they don't have enough entertainment here. There we go. Gladiator's making his rounds now.
There's so much unemployment here. I wish we could practice on some of them.
Wonderful. And more desirability, and of course some furniture. They have access to both these things. One would hope. I'm looking forward to an earthquake destroying our hippodrome. There's no necessity for a hippodrome on this, actually. These people probably need a barber now, and we've got a nice little spot for a barber right here. And there's no need for us to move anything for that. Are there any better places for a barber? Yes, actually. This would merge better if I treated it differently. This is hard to see, so I like to move over to food stocks to flatten it out. If we got rid of these three, we could actually fit 4 in here. So where can we fit a 1x1 barber? You think he could make his way all around here? I don't, but if we put one on both places, it'll work. A barber only employs 2 people, so there's not much of a problem with superfluous barbers. And if we start getting large insulae here, we can start taking a surgical scalp to all this and make the block be exactly how we want it. There's one big except problem here, and that's that I'm going to want to branch off for another pleb block over here, but let's not worry about such things for now. Looking good, and I hate to say it, but I'm going to be destroying a lot of these guys pretty quickly. They do not like where they live, do they? Imobi wants to spread the love as well. Who am I to stop them? I don't know if it's festive love or love for Caesar 3, maybe a bit of both. I like that. I'll choose to leave a bit of both. What do you mean I need 2 cartloads of marble? I've got all the marble one could need right here. Maybe it only works with road access. That's weird though. That would be very weird. Oh, okay. I didn't know that. Always learning something new when I play this game. I had no idea that they cared about road access for the marble containing warehouse. So what I'm doing now is I'm trying to make sure that we have all of the large insulae that we could possibly need and stable. If they're not stable, it becomes a problem with them going up and down and up and down. So what I'm looking for is to have this as densely populated with large insulae as I can. Some people still complain about the desirability of the area. Fortunately, we have powers to deal with that. Not always great power, though. And I still don't like the location of my amphitheater, but there's precious little I can do about that. Large statues have intensely long range for upping desirability, so I should take care of these guys very nicely. And I hate to say it, but you two are both going to go away, and these guys will hopefully grow into a lovely large insulae. Come on, you can do it. There we go. Surprised desirability was as harsh as it is, but normally we have our good friend the Crutch Plaza helping us out. We do not this time. A statue here wouldn't actually have the range to help out any of these people, so I'm not putting it down. A love of ham. Well, I'm not sharing my ham with the stream now, am I? Probably for the better. How many people do we have? 505. That ham wouldn't last 3 seconds. Just trying to think of ways to increase desirability here without eating into my usable land. But I think I'm just going to slam an oracle down here because it's going to have great effect on the northern area for desirability. Even so, you still want things to be more desirable. You are just... It's looking pretty good. Now these people aren't happy because they're close to the big smelly reservoir. I'm under the impression that reservoirs did actually smell terrible. Fortunately, we can put a large statue behind here. Flank it with some gardens. And if I could also slam a large statue around here. Oh yeah, grow up big and strong. Now they want their oils and furnitures, but they're right next to the market, so that's okay. This school bothers me, it blocks a merger. Bothers me a lot. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, so that's pretty much the same. Okay, in that case it doesn't block anything, but I'm still going to delete these. I am only interested in large insulae mergers. In a sense, it makes this into a nice little puzzle of how you slot everything in. And now, perhaps my favorite puzzle of all, you have a number of Iberians, and you need them all dead. How do you deal with this? Now, just about every time I put up a video about Caesar 3, I get the question, why are your soldiers speaking Russian? I forget how long ago it was by now, but somebody who contributed a lot to Caesar 3 streams was a community member by the name of Dr. Aftish, a Russian man who was very good at peeling this game apart and giving me some very nice information about the game, but he also provided a voiceover for the soldiers, so that's why they say Smyrna, Narevo, Napravo, and of course, Ura. Now, I'm pretty sure Dr. Aftish hates the voiceovers because he's hearing his own voice, and a lot of people don't like that. But I like them, so I keep them. A bit of a problem around here. What's with the devolution? This is not what I want to see. Devolution is bad, especially from large insulae because they don't remain merged as they devolve, as you can see here. They're complaining about lack of school, but that's seldom the actual problem. Ah, right, now I remember. I moved my school to see if it would work in its new location. It is not working in its new location. So I'm left with some options here. Do I put the school back? I'm going to lose this oracle, but I guess I will do that. And I'm actually going to move the oracle back here, because that'll help more people, although it will come at the cost of one of my beloved insulae. Stop you from evolving like that. I'm going to delete you. And the puzzle begins anew. So this area here, it doesn't really matter, so I would like to get rid of you, even though you have all those goods on you. Now what I can do is probably just garden you up, and then boom! Large insulae just like the doctor ordered. And the school coverage should be back to being full. I need you to run all the way down here. Why does he give up at that point? I need these school kids to run a little further than they're running. I swear the kids were going further last time. The walker system in this game, it is a trying system. Can cause a lot of pain and anguish, truly. Alright, with that, I think I can even get rid of that school. I want a large insulae here, and then all will be fine. Would even quite like a large insulae here, but they hate how undesirable it is being next to this warehouse. That's okay though, there's plenty of space to make their lives more desirable. How many people live in one of those large insulae? A large insulae is forced to be a 2x2 building, but it fits a total of 84. So that's 11 per square. No, it's not. What am I doing? It's 21 per square. 21 per square for a total of 84. The predecessor, the medium insulae, fits 20 per square. So it's slightly more efficient on holding people. But the reason I'm getting these high-level houses is to up my prosperity cap as much as possible. What's the game moaning about now? I know my maths. He says, and he wonders who believes. Hello, Jake. Merry Christmas. Excited about Xenonauts later today. Me too, Johnny Rico. Me too. Alright, hopefully that balls into a nice big, large insulae as well. You hate being next to a school. That's something that cracks me up. People claim they want schools, but then they say they don't want to live near one. Everyone loves rats, but they won't drink the rat's milk. How do I evolve you? It's getting a little tight for desirability, and I don't want to build here because that would block a lot of movement. I might just block movement anyway. If I get attacked, then so be it. That should make you evolve into a large. You tell me that still isn't enough? Jeez, these people are hard to please. There you go, that should do, right? There's a lot of yo-yoing in the housing level, which is always trepidatious, because we want them to be large for as long as possible. I like the fact that you could be large, so I believe you like that. And of course you're not happy because of the existence of the granary, but a few statues might change your mind. It's like playing open TTD, everywhere just needs a giant statue of me. Gonna get rid of these nobodies, replace them with gardens, and then hopefully... There we go, a nice big large insulae. I need them to be stable though. They don't look very stable right now, do they? Oh, sorry, they do not. There we go, looking good. Looking cool, Joker. Limiting access to plaza is one of the crueler things you can do, but it is a very good way to spur someone on to have to play better. Now, if they don't have plaza and don't have statues, then things get a bit crazy, but I have had to play like that before. Alright, dare I say it's actually looking quite good. This is a hefty amount of population here. I will likely expand on the population here, and I'd love to get these guys up to Grand Insulae. The money would be decadent. Also, I think I missed a couple of messages. Enemies at the door. They're just Iberians. Decreased trading. Decreased amount of weapons I can sell. So, this is a good way to do your economy game as a map maker. Okay, sure, there's plenty of things available early. Far too much, I'd even say. But the fact that you reduce the price of goods and reduce the amount that you can sell forces the player to transition to a tax-based economy, which is exactly what I'm doing here. I would like to up my taxes further, but I probably need to keep up with the wages better. And if I make these into Grand Insulae, I should not really be having any money problems. Ugh, don't devolve like that, we don't like it. They're complaining about the lack of market stuff. A little tempted to put a market here just to aid them, since I can see the market ladies don't make that run very often. Pretty hard thing to gauge how well the market ladies move around. Even so, I slam down more. Ooh, nice double merge. Very nice double merge even. I'm gonna leave that medium insulae there for now. He says, not even convinced of what he's saying. He then deletes it and puts in a statue, hoping that this becomes a large insulae. Okay. Oh well. Ach, wheel. I feel like I'm a semi-frequent flyer around these parts, but I'm missing out on the hot pot recipe lore. Can someone elaborate? There was a punishment game I had to play called Coronation Street and the missing hot pot recipe. It was god-awful, but it was probably the best punishment game we've seen around here in a long, long time. And many would agree, well worth seeing. So the bathhouse lady, her awkward routine is causing devolutions here. Ah well, can't worry about these things. What I do need to do is get another pleb set up here, and there's no need to hook it in. What I could do is make you an isolated patch fed off of here. And there's nothing stopping you also suckling off of the production that's done in this location. Yeah, I rather like that idea even. Good, good. Now, I think there's a little more to it than that. Game keeps yelling at me about people coming in. Right, screw it, let's just, we have the money and we have the manpower. So let's enjoy ourselves some more plebs here. Very awkward bit of water and rock. Again, that's a very Marek thing to do. Marek is a map maker who just... I don't know what happened to him, but he loves to torture people with the maps he makes. Was he just born that way? I don't know. He's certainly colouring my opinion of Czech people single-handedly. That was a very poor place for that farm. God, there's not a particularly great way to line this up for farms. Farms are certainly one of the larger things to put down in this game. That almost works, but doesn't quite. The corner there doesn't connect the way you want it to. 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 3, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, that works if I just shunt everything down by 1. Wheat farms are amazingly efficient. A single wheat farm running optimally can feed 320 people. Just have you come out like so. That's 5 times 320. And what's more, there is more arable land there and there if the need arises. That might be a bit big as loops go, but I'm sure it's not a big problem. Least of all, I can show a granary there. Yeah, people may or may not make this loop. Let's start throwing people in. I'm worried about how unstable this block is. They're not remaining at large insulae. But that's why I'm giving them a little bit of time here. See if maybe if I just let them be, they'll change their minds and actually start playing nicely. Yeah, well, let's not baby them, shall we? Always, always focus on protecting. Engineer post and prefecture, and if you have a lot of tents, absolutely make sure you double down on the prefecting, sometimes even triple down, because tents catch fire at twice the speed of other buildings. Also, they don't like living in tents when other people live in not tents, so what's the problem here? Problem is that at a rate of 8% tax and the massive unemployment I have, they're not happy, so I'm going to massively boost wages. 8 above Rome is the biggest bonus you can get, but I still want to tax these people. They deserve to pay me money. Yeah, my taxes. Feel it every time. Fortunately, the Nickies have a place to go. There's not a big pressing need for me to slam a lot of people in here because I won't be able to feed too many with just this farming setup, although of course I can Slam down another one-hole farm here. Do I really want to? Couldn't hurt, could it? The gods are happy. They're so happy that I'm going to tear down this statue to Mercury and relocate it over here. There we go. Good place to give desirability. So too is that. They're also going to need to be watered, and for thee, there's a decent place for watering here, and a very decent place for watering here. And because we already have the reservoir, we need only connect it up, although these trees like to get in the way. There we go. I mean, really, getting all your city's water out of this puddle can't be that great for public health. But health is not a big deal in this game, as long as you have plenty of simple doctor clinics. You don't even need hospitals, although they can still be useful. Let's not bother with that. I'm actually going to fish for... Oh, shouldn't do that. One thing you shouldn't do in this game is undo housing. There's a number of awkward bugs that can arise from that, although I've never seen the game crash from it. There's a thing that can happen that's known as a black hole. Why are you not getting any soldiers? You've stopped at 3 for a long time. No stored weapons, cannot train any new legions, but you've got weapons right here. In fact, you just got weapons. Maybe they're not reaching here for some reason. Might be something untoward happening. I'm going to delete my military academy in case that's having an untoward effect on reinforcements. Not that it's a big deal. We have an almost impenetrable defense here. It's very difficult for any unit, any enemy unit, to press through this kind of density. I mean, they can try, but for that they can die. Job well done, now get on home. Ah, just like that, the Uras went up to 5 people. Yeah, it must have been because I was blocking off this area, or something to do with the roads? Not too sure. Should probably look into that someday. But I probably won't. Toga Boy is levying one of his many demands on me. And this time we're going to up the amount of weapons that we hold to 16. Which is quite a lot. In fact, we don't sell weapons anymore, do we? Not a sausage. I could sell weapons to Capua, but we can't open a trade route to Capua because there's no access to the dock. A very strange limitation to have, but I like it. I like it a lot. Sometimes it's hard to find a good map to make your custom map on because the trade routes are one of the main things you look for. But you can keep in mind that you do not have to use all of those trade routes. You can block the sea ones just like that. Just as we saw. Really wonder what's causing all the devolutions over there, but oh well. Toga Boy can get his weapons, and that should keep him nice and happy, because it was very prompt delivery. Toga Boy is happy when they're on time, and conversely very unhappy when they're not. He'll give you an extra year or 2 years if you are too late on it. That's interesting. Why did this happen? Somehow my engineer post was not getting any labour, meaning everything I built here is about to fall down. That's odd. He must have been getting lost around here, not making his way down. It has been known to happen. Well, now we can enjoy some collapses, unless these guys get to work immediately. Oh!
There's no space. These structures were in poor condition. I came along just in time.
Beniamus Gaulius actually does go and rescue my buildings. Thank you, Benius. And it's a rare occasion where my city does actually look like the image that it shows for 3,000. I tell you, that doesn't happen often. I wonder if the wheat farm back here was getting labour access. There's an awkward problem here where these guys are now stuck in the collapsed granary. But if you build another granary and then give these guys miraculous road access, they will shoot off. Then you're free to rebuild your granary. Sod it, I'll just get rid of you. Yeah, there's a lot of up and downing of evolution, devolution here. And I'm reckoning it's down to my poultry marketplaces. Markets love to not work the way you want them to. Noticeably it's focused on this side, so that's why I'm adding another marketplace over there. To combat such a problem ever happening here, I'm going to stick to what's the word here? Brain activate mergers. Now let's assume every merger is 80, and I want a population of, let's say, 1,600. Really, that's only 20 mergers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's pretty much all of them. Let's just get rid of these. Yeah, I don't like how unmerged this stuff is. Let's see if we can't fish for a merger or two here. Like you? Yeah, there we go. I know my stuff. How about you? None of you guys want to merge, apparently. But what about if we didn't have this here? I know, apparently. You might reasonably wonder, how do these mergers work? Probably best not to wonder about it. It's a pain in the butt is how it works. One of my least enjoyable aspects of the game is managing mergers. Feels good when they happen, but they can be aggravating to fish out. Basically, the 2x2s, they merge like these tents just did, and in doing so, they cut down on the amount of pottery and furniture that they consume, because a 1x1 building will consume just as much pottery and furniture as a 2x2. Not proportionally, just flat out. If it was 1 pottery per month for a 1x1, it's 1 pottery per month for a 2x2. But the 2x2 has 4 times as many people in it, so you do the maths. Because I evidently cannot. I tend to keep a horse troop to attack javelins and archers. The horses are laughably weak. Which stands to reason. I'm under the impression that the Roman cavalry was noticeably weak and pathetic. Based on that one story I heard. There we go. Would somebody not mind going in there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, that's actually plenty. We don't even need you here, so away you go. Let's get these people all marketed up. 3 is probably overkill, but I'm still giving them 3. And let's make sure we got a warehouse getting all those goods that they could need. Pottery, furniture, I'll even get them oil, although I don't know if I'll be giving them oil just yet. The actual Roman cavalry were nobles. They tended to not train a lot. Yeah, now that I can believe. The laziness inherent in the system. I feel like I'm not producing a lot of furniture. In fact, I only have 1 wood chopper right now. And since we barely need any weapons, I'm going to trim down my weapon production immensely. Okay, get rid of you 2 and you 2. Do I have any more weapon workshops? Well, if I do, I can't see them. This pottery guy as well. Let's get our timber yard and our furniture workshops back up. Well, I don't want to run out of furniture, that's for sure. That's when we start having some real evolution-devolution problems. Not that we don't already have those. If I can just sneak a fountain in here, because these guys keep complaining about lack of water. Drags down desirability as well. Otherwise, it's looking fairly good if we just don't have those devolution problems again. I like watching buildings grow. It just so it feels like to garden or to have kids. Right. What do these sorry folk need? They need to be entertained. There's a temptation to actually give them a Colosseum. Not sure how big of a temptation it is, but it is a temptation. Although there are other ways to deal with such things. I'm thinking about my overall entertainment rating here. So to get these guys up to Grand Insulae, they'd need to have 10 more levels of entertainment. Now that's solvable by giving them access to a Colosseum, but that's difficult because the Colosseum is Xbox huge. On top of that, it shares the gladiators and the gladiator school, so I wouldn't want to cause issues with these guys not getting access to that. On top of that, it's hard to position it such that these guys actually get access to that. So all in all, that causes a lot of problems. But there's another way to give them 10 points of entertainment, and that's by a completely invisible rating of, well, not completely invisible, but it doesn't tell you it does this, the entertainment across your entire city. There is a coverage, and it scales from 0 to 5 based on none to perfect city coverage of everything. So if you had enough theatres to entertain everybody, you'd get 5 entertainment points. These guys currently have 25 and I need 35. So it's not unreasonable that I put down about 10 theatres and 5 or 6 amphitheatres to get them the coverage that they need. It's a bit spammy though, it causes a culture block that I like to not have. Alternatively, I could have a hippodrome which gives 5 just by existing. And trust me, that is tempting, although finding place for the hippodrome, I mean, it could go right here. It would certainly drink up all that unemployment that I have. Well, not all of it, but it would help. Everybody loves a hippodrome, right? Besides, if there is an earthquake waiting for me, I'm sure people would love to see it here. Could actually have ourselves a nice little entertainment area. Do a whole "Are you not entertained?" spiel here. Not very desirable to be next to this, trust me, but if I do something like this, yeah, go figure the minor entertainers would all be next to the glorious hippodrome. The existence of this might just be enough to pop these guys up. Hey, man, it's good to be right. I would know. Now the big benefit of Grand Insulae is that they pay a huge amount of taxes, 4 times the base rate per person. And another idea just popped up, says Marcus. Beat Caesar 3 missions without a single deletion of trees. Do you think it's possible? Not only is it possible, Bruegel likes to do missions where he doesn't delete any more trees than necessary. Again, Bruegel, one of the, well, the greatest Caesar 3 minds to ever live. I am outclassed by that man in every way. I cannot believe... I was never under the impression that you needed your warehouse to have workers in order to benefit from their marble. Right, well, tell you what, I will get you workers, like so, just so I can use that marble. I I didn't see this coming. Distant Roman city is under threat. I am that distant Roman city. Oh, crikey, it's not letting up. Right, so Caesar's really letting me have it. A city is under threat. I don't know which city. Carthago? You want me to go and save Carthage? Okay, I guess I can, but I need to save my own city first. And I've got a bit of an oil crisis here. I need to accept some iron, and I also need to stockpile iron for that. We only have one iron mine. That's going to take a while, Caesar. How long do you have? Okay, I'll have enough time to fulfill that request. We can still get around here. It's a little tight on the timing. Fortunately, the walls should hold a little better than the not walls that we had before. And you guys will be the last line of defense if they break through. Javelin throwers are faster. Oh, well that's going to aggro them. There we go. Yeah, we could have done with that wall. It's okay, the prefects will help. Alright, Toga boy, it's time for you to get off my back. There we go. Victory. And all it cost us was 1 legionnaire and 1 bit of broken wall. Was it even a legionnaire? Okay, things are getting quite serious with the goods here. Not in a great way. I don't know if that's because of exports or anything. I'm actually going to turn off exports for a little bit and just let things pile up. And of course I need to stockpile that iron. A little worried about the paltry amount of pottery there. Feels like we're not making much pottery. Let me think. We've got 1, 2, 3 clay pits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... I should have 6 pottery workshops, but I don't. There's another one. What about furniture? We've got 2 of you and 1, 2, 3, 4 of you, which is fine. 4 pressers, which is also fine. I'm sure we're actually okay. It's just that I'm selling... It's a good sign that I'm selling the goods, of course. I need to be careful with the economy, though. We don't get complacent on the economy. Never, ever. Now, as for Carthage, it's an average force. I reckon 2 fully loaded legionnaires can take care of that, so take that force. And I'm not going to send him the furniture just yet, because I need that. Also, I don't have a lot of space for that, so I am going to set up a dedicated... Again, I don't give myself so much room for this, do I? Get rid of you. Give myself a dedicated furniture warehouse now. And this one will no longer take the furniture. It's a bad idea to combine your goods, but I was feeling cocksure of myself, so I did it anyway. A Merry Christmas to you, Partial Bloom. I'm surprised that the Legionnaires use stabbing animations, because that's exactly how they fought. Good job, Caesar 3 devs. I'm pretty sure they made this because of their love of the setting. Certainly poured a lot of love into this, but then how much love for settings can they have? They also did this for Greece, and China, and Egypt. Maybe they're just all-around history boffins. I'm running out of opportunities to turn this large insulae into a grand insulae. You have a similar problem, but I can delete some of your problems and replace them with giant statues of my bust. They are unimpressed. Be impressed with that, then. Ah, no, that was actually too far away to be impressive. Jeez, this is like 99 nobles were impressed.png. getting a little bit more desirability for you is going to be a hard sell. But not an impossible one. I can see how I can do it, I just don't want to try it right now. Tell me, is there space for 2x2 here? No, there's a lovely rock in the way. Anyway, it's not a pressing issue, so I'm not going to address it just yet. That was too far away to impact you, so that wasn't worth my time. Oh. Okay, they're really hamming into my trade. Well, it's a good thing I have all this tax set up. If I could eat through some of that unemployment, things would be even better. You know what helps with that? That's right, patricians help with that. It's not unthinkable that these people become patricians down the line. I'm sure you've answered this a million times. Do you? Have you played the Egyptian version of the game? You're talking about Pharaoh? Yes, I have played it, and I don't like it. Truth be told, I'm not very fond of any of the other Sierra city builders. I suppose it's impression game city builders. This game really encapsulates me because I love the Roman setting of it. That's why I keep crawling back to it like an abused spouse. Except this game doesn't abuse me, except I suppose with its walker system. The walker system's a bit asinine. But yeah, the other games do not hold the appeal for me, sadly. Oh, that's right, I gave you this hippodrome. I should damn well give you access to the hippodrome, shouldn't I? No point having it blocked off like this. Although I have, admittedly, gone and blocked you off from this. There's no way I'm tearing it down and rebuilding it. It's far too expensive a building. But there are also all these in the way, and of course you're in the way. I wonder if I could simply manipulate your position, delete you, and then, just like so, have you pop out. It's not without its risks. Do this. That should give them lots of entertainment, more than they'll ever really need. You're incredibly unhappy, but that's what the power of the Oracle is for. Oh, remember that sheep that I was trying to keep alive? Our prefect just went and murdered it. What a tragedy for the sheep, and not at all for me. Right, shove the bath area next to the river so people can go and do that kind of Scandi style lovely warm water, Burr cold water affair, which I'm sure plenty of them are doing at this time of year. Zeus wasn't bad. I'm not saying they were bad, I'm saying they weren't for me, and they certainly were not. These people are going to demand a barber shop. I believe they already have a doctor's clinic. Not too shabby. I didn't put much thought into this, but knowing that they're all pre-mergers makes this a lot easier for me. You know what else will make it easier for me? Getting some... I think these guys are going to be my patricians, actually. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5... 5 small... No, I could have more than 5. I'll have the 6th one over here. They'll be my small villas. That's my thought. And I can feed 5 small villas pretty handily off of a single vegetable farm, right? One vegetable farm is going to feed 320 of them. There's 40 per... yeah. One veggie farm will take care of this handily. But Jake, you built on the natives' lands. They're going to come and tear down everything you know and love. Ordinarily, yes, but they're not going to do jack because there is no native trading post. And if there's no native trading post, it doesn't even spawn the natives. So take that. These veggies over here. I'll give it a while to stock up, and then I'll put some effort into making these guys into our wee villas. Otherwise, a lot of desirability issues here, but fortunately we have the all-powerful Oracle on tap. And it really is all-powerful. Not only does it give huge amounts of desirability, it has an incredibly long range, and it appeases all the gods for a population of 500 or so. Hey, Battleship How! Coming in to spread some Christmas cheer. And I'm sure I'm not the only one appreciating that. Oh god, what if I am? Merry Christmas, Jake. Xenonauts with Baron. I've gotten used to you two playing it together. So I'm under the impression that Baron won't be able to make it for this session. So when it comes time for Baronauts, if somebody wants to come in and pretend they're Baron, then I'm all for that. Extra points if you have a terrible Canadian accent, because I need some revenge for what the Canadians have done to Scottish accents. A stockpile of iron is paid off. I'm very tempted to tell Caesar to go and suck a lemon when it comes to the furniture. I don't have a lot to comfortably give it to him and not face shortages. So instead I'm going to give him some cheetahs and giraffes, and if this still looks good in 2 years, then sure, you can have my furniture. But I don't produce tons of the stuff. Baron is selfishly spending time with his family. How could he? He needs to spend time with his real family, his Xenonaut brothers and sisters. So what's these guys' problem? Oh, single food type. I should do something about that, but I don't want to. And what's your guys' problem? Oh, you hate where you live. Strange, I mean, I've given you a bajillion statues around here. I should have a spare temple that I can throw over there. Ceres, perhaps? Ceres, most assuredly. Merry Christmas, Jake, says Marvin. Well, cheers. Wow, you don't often see that kind of cheer mote. Well, I certainly don't. So even now, those market ladies, they love to not work the way you want them to. Although the problem could be the severe lack of... Aha! That farm wasn't producing food. Well, that's my problem right there. No food is a big problem. I'm going to migrate you over a little bit. Hopefully the walker will be able to find their way over now. And we need to kickstart the bread economy here. It's like we're playing... bread economy, that's a stronghold thing, but right now it's a very real thing here, so despite the misdirection of doing this, I'm going to try and turbocharge our granary with some extra wheat, and I'll turn these guys off later. We'll give out the points at the end of the Caesar 3 run as we transition into Baronauts. Give me an opportunity to wolf down more of my ham if I'm so inclined as well, and I think I will be. So I think this is the guy that went into the wheat farm there, and I think he's just getting lost inside the granary rather than going and getting some workers. You can actually see this under risks, problems. So there he is, he's just completely failing to get in here. Yeah, this is what I mean by the walker system, just doing its level best to infuriate you. Just wanders around in a square and comes back. Alright, it is a pity, but I can't have my extra farm here. I will probably hope that these two farms will just be able to constantly work well for me, and I'll leave them there. Although they do block off some movement. Quite a lot of movement, I might add. Well, we will have to cope with the situation. How am I meant to make any wine, by the way? I can import some vines, although I could always grow them myself. the vining opportunity here, that's for sure. It's not ideal, though. I think I say that very often playing this game. I keep saying, oh, there's da-da-da-da-da, oh, but it's not ideal. And if you had an ideal map, then there probably wouldn't be a lot of fun in building on it. Workshop, wine, one will be sufficient. And I can bring that wine all the way over here, I'm sure. It's no biggie. There we go. Merry Christmas. And do I see Ben-Hur there, says Snow Kitsune. I don't know what a Ben-Hur is, so maybe. Gotta reach over here with a bit more desirability. Again, no access to Crutch Plaza. Oh, there we go. Treading on the bodies of fallen empires, the Roman army marches victoriously back from Carthago. Quite the trek getting over there, considering that we don't have a dock. Could you reasonably march that in... Actually, I don't know how long it took them. Not that long. Unemployment is through the roof, and my denarii is heading down. That actually hurts prosperity when you don't make a profit year on year. And we're not actually exporting anything at this point. Could be a problem later. Could be a problem now. But if I can just get the second food type available for these sorry sods, then we're going to have some patricians going. And we are going to have some patricians going, so thunk, thunk. That'll be loads of desirability for them. And the Iberians have chosen to attack my weak spot. So I'm actually going to go with a... I don't know what the thing is called. The line formation. That way we will be a nice surprise behind our walls, because I suspect they're going to break our walls before we're able to get into position. Legionnaires are incredibly powerful, but they are slow buggers. Okay, well, actually...
Hail! Have you seen how high unemployment is here?
Not my first concern right now, I'll say Cornelius Proprius. Yeah, down they go. However, we've got a big, mean load of soldiers ready to crush them. A very nice thing to do, though, from a mapmaker's perspective. Attack the enemy when they are weakened by having to send off units to protect the rest of the Empire. It's a nice little test. There we go. Oh, is there a better pastime than putting Iberians to the sword? Lost a fair few soldiers there, but... nothing to worry about. We're really struggling on the food situation here, aren't we? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 wheat farms, not able to keep up particularly well. Right, never mind that. What we should be worrying about is getting our patricians to be fed. Also thinking that I want you coming out here with the possibility of having another patrician, making that a useless place to put my market, so instead we edge it over one bit. It always gets asked. Yeah, Grey Shirts Tio. I have redone some of the voiceovers for this game using community members' submitted voice lines, and a talented Russian individual did the voices for the armies. I do like the echo effect that he put on it. And that was done by our very own Dr. Aftish. I also remember myself using gladiators to defend my cities. Yes, setting up the gladiator wall is actually the strongest defense in the game, but certainly not my favorite. Of course, sometimes you really feel that you're forced to use it. Alright, come on, marketplaces, go and get that bleeding food. I also want to finally empty this warehouse and send that marble over here. And then I can get rid of this warehouse, although I'm a little tempted not to, because for all I know, removing that warehouse is going to cause knock-on issues with this housing block, which is looking quite good and stable. I don't know what my prosperity cap is, but I reckon it's pretty good at this point. So, tricky thing about the Triumphal Arch. At one angle, it works as a gatehouse, and it's a bug in the game, of that I'm quite certain. I often forget which angle that is. I think if it goes from here down to here, then it's good, and if it goes from here down to here, it works as a gatehouse. Either way, too risky to use at this moment. Sometimes it's best just to use it as a decorative piece, and I might do that, because it's a very good decorative piece. Has amazing abilities and range. In fact, you know what? At least here it can't hurt anybody. Clunk. And I should make these two evolve. Man, I know my stuff. Nothing greater than seeing the Arc de Triomphe, but absolutely not being allowed to walk under it. Goodness, they're gobbling up that second food type really fast. Of course, that's why I want these guys to be patricians as soon as possible, because then they're not going to eat that up quite so readily. Come on, evolve, will you? There we go. Wait, what was that event? Landslides. Also Imperial Reminder. Toga Boy wants my wood as usual. There's not a big downside with telling him to smeg off at this point, because he loves me, but I'll give it to him anyway. Hopefully that came from the source of... Yeah, good. He got his IKEA, no problem. 20 years, they still haven't fixed the Gatehouse Arch bug. Yeah, how dare Sierra not continually update this game? The reason it's not fixed in Julius is because Julius is intended to be the same as vanilla Caesar 3. The only bug that I think this game properly fixes is the immigration bug on very hard mode. And there's even an option to turn that fix off if you want to go true blue with your vanilla playing, and some people do. Some people really do. Right, trade is being absolutely annihilated at this point, so hopefully we have plenty of tax income coming in. My taxman seems to be very proficient at making the rounds. Taxmen, rather. We've got two of them. I say that, but this guy is often parsing around down south where he should not be. It's too important to miss on right now, so I'm actually going to double down on my taxation, because I always want a taxman running around here gobbling up the good tax money. And it is good. The tax money you get off of Grand Insulae is fantastic. Now my unemployment is through the roof. That causes a -3 hit on everybody's happiness. But wages are 8 above Rome's, which gives a +4. Everybody's fed 2 types of food, which is another +2. So I can actually afford to tax people at a rate of 14%. The only people who are going to be unhappy with that are the tent-dwelling scum, as I like to call them. And we don't have many of those. And I would like to eventually have none of them. Another bug that has been fixed is the warehouse granary getting linked. Not sure what you mean by that one. Squeaky Fence says this is what they wanted for Christmas. It wasn't that brand new Lego set under the Christmas tree? Or Paperboy 64? No, it was Caesar. Where can I fit you? I'm trying to cram in a school here. It's not coming easy. Dare I admit that you might go quite nicely there. Rome wants my weapons, but I have bajillions of weapons, so I'm actually going to wait on that one. Give Caesar a moment to chill off. And I got rid of some theatres there, so I'm actually thinking about erecting a theatre and amphitheatre here. That does give a bonus to the desirability in this area, but most importantly, it maintains good coverage of theatres and amphitheatres. I need that to be high enough to prevent devolution here. If they start thinking that the places to go and watch their favourite movies is too jam-packed, they're not going to maintain being Grand Insulae. There we go, finally got you up there. Can I get rid of this and maintain you at Grand Insulae? Yes and no. That other guy went away, so we'll keep you there. Love Grand Insulae. I do not love Rome paying more wages, though. So, up we go to 8 above Rome. People are pleased with me, as well they should be. They'll be more pleased when the unemployment stops being such a horrific issue. Are you telling me you still didn't get school access? I'm going to great lengths to school you, kiddo. Also, I just slightly don't have the population needed, so I'm actually going to need a few more plebs. And truth be told, I should jam them in here, although I've not left myself with a great deal of space for it. There's more than one ways to fry that cat. It's highly undesirable, but I'm going to get rid of you in favour of the school. And the guy here is going to hate it, so hopefully he will forgive all if I just plunk down an all-powerful oracle here. Eesh, that's not good. The oracle doesn't actually get coverage for not falling to pieces, although it would if you were here. Haha, clever. By me. Engineer gets there and sees to it. And that means I can get rid of this school and put down something else. Hell, we can have another amphitheatre. Keep everybody nice and happy. And I want you to become a glorious patrician, which you will eventually, as soon as we have some food to give you from here, which I'm sure that will happen. And as ever, there's always someone not happy with what I'm doing for them. There we go. So I have some concerns about this. I don't think my prosperity cap is going to be high enough with just these large insulae. But we can see that as our prosperity grows. We need the prosperity to grow, after all. We're on the home stretch now, Cotton. Yes, we are, Bane. Cotton. Oh god, Rome and its more wages. Rome's wages have reached maximum, though. They're not going to get any higher. As long as my taxes continue to eclipse wages, then all should be well. And, well, you guys devolved. Why is that? For some reason, although I have all this wine, you didn't get that wine. That's, very strange. So strange, in fact, that I'm going to shove another marketplace here. There we go. Maybe the market ladies are doing some weird run around here where they don't go the way I want them to. Market ladies, as I've said before, they love to just not go the way you want them to. Where's my winemaker? Ah, I see the problem. This guy has poor access to labor, I think. Yeah, where is my winemaker? Did I delete it in a fit of rage? I apparently have one of... Oh, it's right here. How in the world did I miss you? We'll just get rid of you after all. There we go. Make sure everything is still working fine like so. It's no big deal if these guys devolve. They will re-evolve fairly swiftly as long as they get their wine, which is right here. Market ladies just need to make sure they actually hold on to that wine. If they could kindly go and get that wine. Come on, it's sitting right there, just begging to be taken. Market ladies, please. I just realised my problem. My entire problem. People start acting really funny if they're cut off from the road to Rome, and I did cut them off from the road to Rome, largely because of this statue. Now they're going to function properly. Their pathing gets all kind of screwed up if they don't have access to the road to Rome. And what I mean by road to Rome is that anybody can path to here and here from any point in the city. They can go through things like gatehouses and granaries, but I cut them off entirely here, thanks to this and this, I believe. But because I also put the statue here, that prevented them from going up and around to the road to Rome. But now it should be solved. Look at that, they've got wine, they've got the vegetables. Everything is forgiven. Enemies are closing, but I have a pretty formidable army. And everything looks quite stable. Pretty happy with that. If these guys could just get back to being... Oh god, right, I crushed a temple, didn't I? It was a temple to... the very displeased Ceres, who currently has 0 temples. There you go. The gods get jealous if there's a discrepancy in the number of temples available, which is quite fun and funny. There we go. Patricians are back, baby. I have a plan to beat this if I somehow don't have the prosperity goal with this, and the prosperity is calculable. I just don't want to calculate it, because I'd need to individually count buildings and multiply and divide and all those complicated things they didn't properly teach me how to do. Stupid school doesn't know how to teach me. Thinking of having an all-powerful oracle right here, but it would block my... it would block these guys entirely, so that's a no-no. This guy is proving to be quite difficult to upgrade or evolve. I'm trying to think where and what I can squeeze in here. Nothing coming to mind except for this. I can make this into an oracle, which will have a greater effect on you, but not great enough. Okay. There's a little bit of space for some statues right here. Man, I'm good. See, it's just like such a puzzle, manipulating all these houses to grow. I wonder if I could get you with a single small statue here. Not quite. You test me, don't you? What if these weren't here, and instead we had a villa? That's what I need, my own personal villa. Yeah, there we go, he likes being next to my villa. It's important to show status. A statue here is insufficient. And what could be done? There's almost nothing else I can do to improve your desirability. This and this, they're my 2 goals to evolve in this area. Landslides, Toga Boy wants his weapons, we don't particularly care about that. They certainly hate that school, but I need that school there. I can't get rid of the temple to Neptune, it would cut off religious access for everybody. A lot of things I can't do away with here so simply. However, I wonder if this fountain is necessary. What do you think? If we see any devolution, I need to immediately undo that, but we don't. So if I replace it with a statue... Oh, that's still not quite enough. I bet he's close though, he really wants to evolve. I'm running out of things I can do for him though. Heck, I ran out of things a while back. Tell you what, I'm going to get rid of that school and replace it with a medium statue. Then I'm going to get rid of the medium statue and replace it with a school. And that's just the kind of gerrymandering that it takes. Alright, we're going to do a similar thing. I'm going to replace this statue with an oracle. And then I'm going to undo the oracle and replace it back with that statue. Oh, this guy's not falling for the same trick. The trick there is that there's thresholds at which people evolve and devolve. Well, not people, but their homes. And if you can get just above the threshold, they won't fall down until they fall significantly back down below that threshold. I say significantly, it's not that much in it. I'm not convinced there's much that I can do for this poor guy, though. Who made this map? This one was made by Joss V. I got it in a beloved email just the other night. Oh, Crivens. I got rid of all... Oh, right, no, they lost religious facilities access. Must be because of this thing I built. By elongating this out just slightly, it did nasty things to these people. However, I have another solution to that. I'm going to delete this and replace it with a large temple to Mars. And that will give access religiously, and it will improve desirability. I like large temples, but they are underutilized in my cities. Let's not go there, C-Space. I certainly didn't. I came to the stream kinda late. Can I get the Nikki being kicked out of their house? Do not see why not.
I've been thrown at my own.
Elaborate, Nikki.
I've got nowhere to live.
Why, thank you, Nikki. I don't know what I'd do without you. But my life would be a far less smiley, happy one, I'm sure. Awkward thing for Caesar to ask for. Marble, because I've gotten rid of all my marble production. However, I should be able to bring it back. Should, he says. It's not inconceivable to slam a single little guy in here. Just for the purpose of mining. Also, it couldn't hurt just to have an idle amount of marble coming in. Didn't I turn marble off, though? There we go, let's fix that. Toga Boy can have his weapons, because we've got plenty of them. Keep him on my side rather than anybody else's. Really hates being next to this workshop. There's not a lot I can do for you on that front. But I'm trying. There we go. This is a pretty excellent setup, I gotta say. Population is just shy of the goal. Prosperity is continuing to rise. It should rise about 5 every year. I'm expecting prosperity to get to about 80 before I start having some real problems. If it's below 80, I'm gonna have some real problems. However, I have a potential solution. Alright. Send all the Iberians. I'm pretty confident we can crush them all if they somehow get through that. We'll even have to deal with the barons. Unstoppable armies of Rome. There we go. Yeah, these guys have a long way to get around now, thanks to everything I've built up here. As long as there's no major devolutions, this should be relatively in the bag. So we're going to save our game and continue on. Now, Small Villa is the weakest, crappiest, smallest, lowest population patrician housing in the game, but it's the best we have access to because Smallville cannot evolve without access to a hospital, or more accurately, 2 types of medical facilities, of which there are only 2, Doctor Clinic and Hospital. We have no access to the hospital, there's no way to evolve these whatsoever. And the amount of prosperity you get from one of these is very low, it's 150. Prosperity is an average of the prosperity cap of all of your buildings added together and divided by the number of them. So small tents hurt that a lot. And large fancy patrician houses help it a lot. I've got loads of goodies backed up, so it's actually no real biggie if I get rid of my my tents towards the end of this, just for prosperity. But I need that prosperity to keep going up and up and up. And also, Toga Boy, just so I don't forget later, you can have your marble. Question: if you had to rate the Caesar 3 skill among yourself, Commissar Marek, and Barrett Bonhomme, how would you rate them? There's no modest way to answer that question, friendly computer. Let's not be nasty on Christmas. Come on, this is a time for joy and good seasonal will for all the good girls and boys. So don't be modest. I'm not gonna lie on Christmas either. I am the bee's bloody knees at Caesar 3. Oh, he says that, and the moment he says it, there's devolution. And the reason there's devolution is because the market ladies aren't doing their rounds, but they immediately fix that. I do not like dealing with market ladies. They are constantly just a thorn in your side. There are ways to deal with that. If you set market ladies on set loops and do not allow them to deviate, then they're never going to disappoint you like that. But when building on awkward terrain like this, you seldom have the flexibility to do that. Even so, prosperity continues to rise nicely. 54, so I'd expect it to go up to 59 at the turn of the year. Me better than everyone else, Jake. Certainly not a modest way to put it. Rome is teasing me by increasing the price of weapons just when no one buys my weapons. Actually, Capua buys weapons, but I can't sell to Capua because I have no access to a dock. Which is I think that's the first time I've seen that even on one of these. Denying dock access. Very cool. Alright, it's looking great. We're backed up with all the goods we need to keep everybody leveled up. Even wine. Unemployment is actually falling below the threshold that causes people to get very angry with me. So actually, city moods should be great. They're still pleased with me. Since our assets are growing, that reflects nicely on prosperity, which actually went up to 60, not 59. So year on year, that should increase, and the moment it stops increasing is when we need to take action. I've never streamed Caesar 3 due to fear of showing everybody else up, says Commissar Kitty. There we go, that's some great Christmas modesty right there. In fact, since this is the Christmas of modesty, it stands to reason that I should have my own personal palace. Although I'm a little short on space for it, I think I'll have it right next to all the food, pottery, IKEA, and oil. There we go, that really sends a message, doesn't it? Not sure what the message is, but it's probably a good one. Prosperity up to 66. It's rising at 6 per year, which is not an amount I often find my prosperity rising by. I feel like I'm getting too cocky here, so I'm going to erect some walls here to defend my home. I really feel like things are going too well, and that's the point where you really need to start watching out for yourself. The moment, and this goes for all of life, the moment you start thinking, oh hell yeah, everything's going perfect, it's so good to be me, it's when you need to stop and go, really? Am I missing something here? Let's evaluate. Where are the earthquakes? Exactly, Poland. An earthquake that tears up my city and costs me 15,000 denarii? Or a distant Roman city taking away half of my defenses. All things worth considering. It's still an average force, so 2 of our legionnaires should be able to deal with it. It stands to reason that the Uras and the Barons should be sent off, because they take forever to get anywhere. And I'll do just that. Ura and Baron, they're already set up for service, so off they go. They'll get me another Triumphal Arch if they do a good job out there. Prosperity should go up to 72 next year rather. If it doesn't, then again, we have some actual problems that need addressing.
I've been thrown at my own.
Glad to hear it, Nikki. I made an interesting discovery at one point. In this game, the lowest prosperity for any housing is 5 for a small tent. However, an empty plot has a prosperity rating of 0. So if you have a lot of empty plots at the turn of the year, your prosperity rating is going to get massacred. Don't do that. Prosperity rose by another 6 points. This is going very well, but I still don't think I'm in the clear. Okay, let's imagine this then. Every small villa has a prosperity cap of 150. That is 63 more than the cap. So what's 63 times 5? It's 315 if my mental arithmetic is up to scratch, but it might not be. That gives me 315 prosperity points to spread around all the buildings which are below the prosperity cap necessary of 87. And sadly that's all of them. Only 7 is needed for each of these, and at a glance, how many of these things do you think we have? 5, 10, 15, 20, 25... Hey, don't do that, don't do that. What's your problem? I think it was a market lady only barely making the rounds in time, but she did make it in time, so... Phew. I'm sure it'll be fine. Just see that prosperity cap continue to grow, and not worry about it. Plus, I have a pretty nefarious solution to this problem, which actually I could begin right now. I'm gonna get rid of you 3, and I'm gonna replace you with veggie farms. Oh, Catharga Nova will actually take more of my goodies. How generous of them. Now, we're actually going to start having vegetables join the diet for these guys. There's still going to be a little bit of wheat incoming. It might be a very dangerous thing to do at this stage of the game because it can confuse the market ladies and cause mass devolution. Prosperity cap for a Grand Insulae is 80, prosperity cap for a large Insulae is only 65. 65 is quite a hit. Not a good kind of hit. Yeah, Bane, so what's this I'm hearing about you and Caesar 3? You mentioned it, if I'm not mistaken, during some... What was it during? Hitman, of course. During Hitman. Just what the devil are you cooking up? I'll do horribly. I'm not really into city builders for the most part. But I lost a bet to Baron a long while back, and only now I'm able to start repaying. But that's par for the course. Bane will do a bet, and he will not collect or pay his part for years if need be. How long were you sitting on my little dance of so many men? How long did I have to wait for Resident Evil 2? 2? Maybe 3? A long while, exactly. My prosperity went from what to what? I think it went from 72 to 77. A potential real problem. What would Brian Boitano do if he were here today? Aside from kick an ass or two. he would check his imports for food. I can import fruit, but that's my lot. Fruit is sufficient. Why do I have so much iron piling up? Oh god, you should not be accepting iron, that's the problem. And the fact that I don't get rid of weapons is another sizable problem. Right, so I actually do need some more patricians. I do have unemployment to spare, but my best place for slamming patricians down is somewhat spoken for. Unless I just put down a lot more patricians here, but I don't like that answer. I could get another one here, and I will. It's not desirable land, that much is for sure, however. I'm going to jam you in here. And give you as much gardening as I think will help. And I'm going to check my tax income man. Fairly confident in Taxman's abilities here. So I'm going to purge this and this. I'm going to shove the all-powerful Oracle right here, so it gives even more desirability, and the Taxman is going to migrate over here. Hopefully it doesn't curb stomp all of my evolutions. And also hopefully you have water access, you do. Sorely tempted to make this into somewhere for more patricians. Just more people in general. I'm going to purge this tent. The more tents I purge, the better. And the more of these that become Grand Insulae, the better. So I should be able to raise my prosperity cap significantly by having a lot of Grand Insulae here. And of course, the extra patrician. Speaking of patricians...
This is disgraceful. I've never seen so many plebs out of work.
I love the disgust in his voice when he says the word plebs. Right, large statue here, if you please. We've got evolutions to get. And that's close. As soon as you get your extra god walking by, you should become another patrician. And that's going to give me a whole lot more prosperity cap. Wonderful, although he breaks the mold of the design of these small villas. As long as we don't face any horrible devolution, we should be good. Unfortunately, food is a real problem. I do not produce anywhere near enough food for all these people right here, and the market ladies are going to be strained. I'm just... I shouldn't just hope that that doesn't become a problem. I should take steps to ensure that that doesn't become a problem. An extra bit of wheat wouldn't go amiss here. To be fair, unless we get some major shakeups, it seems like a fairly easy map compared to some of the others you played. That's a given. I have played some brutally horrible maps, and believe it or not, I don't only play Caesar 3 to have a brutal time. Sometimes I play it just to enjoy the game, as unthinkable as that might seem. Here's what my prosperity is going to go to at the turn of this year. There's more Grand Insulae and one more small villa than before. Brutal times are coming in Xenonauts. That certainly is. 10 more prosperity points are required. This extra villa alone will help massively towards that due to the low population. I thought Caesar 3 was just an excuse to have an easy early day. Easy early day. It's Christmas, it should be an easy early day. 81, and I think that's my prosperity cap. Yeah, it is. That's actually a considerable problem. I need a lot more villas than I have to deal with that. Question is, can I actually get a lot of villas to help deal with that? The answer is maybe. There's a reasonable space here for more villas. Could easily get 5 more villas here if I position things nicely. They can grab all the goods they need, it's just a question of the services they're going to get. And I think I could give them the services. Desirability could also be a problem, thanks to the fort locations, but actually we could probably do away with that as well. But this then, I'm going to have this run down here. It's already, well, it's only January, so I have all year to fix this. They have access to water from there, even. Heavens, yes they do. That fountain will see to almost all of them. This fountain will see to those that I miss. Desirability could actually be an issue, so I'll need to fill up this with probably loads of oracles. Good thing I set up that oracle mine earlier. I know, marble mine. Screw it, here, have the triumphal arch. Boom. They'll have access to 2 types of food, although it's a little strained. It's more than a little strained, actually. There's a couple of marketplaces just to help out with that. Going to get another marketplace over here because this guy is going to specifically grab wine for you. And you have nothing but wine coming in through there. And interestingly enough, a small villa does not require extra entertainment. So actually, it should be fine. If these guys can evolve, so too can these ones. Evolution is a weird beast, so I'm actually going to block them in with these. And is there anything else they need? I hope not. There's probably going to be some services that don't come up along here during the loop, but we'll find out soon enough and we will quickly add it in here. But it's not going to be entertainment, which is one of the worst ones to deal with. Do the school kids come up here? I don't think they do. No, they don't. So, we're going to want a school. Does the librarian come up here? Probably not. In fact, I'd be highly dubious of them if they did. Yeah, look at that. They're all set to medium or large hobble because they don't get any education whatsoever. I can relate. In Resi 2, what's one of the 2 characters... Oh, which one is your favourite to run? Ooh. Probably Claire. She gets a better variety of weapons. Ugh, but then again, she has to look after Sherry. Difficult. Unsurprisingly, the bathhouse doesn't make it up here. Better sort that as well. And I doubt the barber makes it up too, so we'll give them the barber as well. Doctor? Doctor makes it up. Actually, barber probably does make it up. Yeah, the barber's right there. Bye-bye, barber. And hello, evolution. That is how you do it. And then on top of that, they want a little bit more religion in their lives. We are going to have a preference for Venus. Not enough preference for a large temple, I don't think. But we love you, Venus. Probably. Name is ruined by that advertisement that showed on TV for a Venus razor blade. And there we go. Extra population cap, much higher prosperity cap. In 2 years that should be game, set, and match. Unless something really horrible happens, we're talking earthquake, mass devolutions, things like that. It's fine. I just made the noobiest trick in all of Noob Town. Please don't burn down my... Yeah, don't do that. Don't be doing that. Well, that's what I get for relying on the power of the Oracle. They all burn down. There's a huge bad knock-on effect from having a lot of fire, though, and that's that it takes your firefighters away from the rest of your city, which can lead to fire problems due to them dealing with the other parts, but hopefully that's not going to be a problem. It was never going to be a problem. Is there a reason for the specific population goal number? Yes, so the numbers seem awfully specific here, don't they? I don't understand any great meaning to them. So there may or may not be. We're within spitting distance of that population goal, though, so it's not going to be a problem, except for one thing. I'm out of vegetables. Like, I'm completely out of vegetables. I suspect that's because these farms struggle to get a lot of labour access, but people have lots of vegetables banked up, so I think it's just because of the immediate rush of these guys chewing on all the veg. Hey, we hit the prosperity goal. We really jumped up on that, didn't we? Crivens, we are done. We are El Dunzo. It's a shameful thing to save on there, so I'll save now. So, what was the name of this map again? It was Plebeian Paradise, if I recall well. An easy win, says Curio. Well, it was never... I don't think it was ever intended to be a truly challenging map. Or if it was, then big miss there. But it was a very enjoyable map to me. Did I say enjoyable when I meant difficult earlier? Possibly. Anyway, it was a very enjoyable map for me because I like the situations where you have this tight amount of land with which to build up a city within, and the prosperity requirement crossed with the limit on how large you can make your, or how advanced you can make your patricians. A great combination, and I love it. And I also love being forced to build Grand Insulae because they're so good, much as I love my beloved Small Insulae. And I learned something. The lack of docks can make for a great tweak on how you set up your trade here, because whilst Capua and Roma looked like it would be a great place to sell some more weapons and oil, or even import some extra goodies, it was completely off the cards. Yeah, but Rome would have made things foobar. If I would have changed anything on this map, I would have... what would I have done? Certainly wouldn't have made resources so abundant. There was a lot that I could sell very early on. I don't think the price hike started coming in until about 5 years in. Ooh. Where was it? Where was it? Yeah, the trading changes didn't happen until 97, so the 4th year. And that was a small splash in the ocean. I had loads of time to transition to a tax-based economy. But we are done, and we shall not prolong the fight. I'm thinking about it. This is only 2 pleb houses worth of stuff putting down. I could do them. I could do them less rancid than that, couldn't I? Well, I could, but I won't. Come on in. Nicky comes crawling back, so he gets a home. The family is currently in collective chill-out mode, enjoying books and coffees and so on, says Baron. I can't commit to a full stream. Does that mean you can commit to a little bit of stream? Ooh, promoted to Caesar.
That means it's 7 o'clock.
You don't get a voiceover for it, but I can imagine I'm getting it. Congratulations! Once again, you've proven yourself to be one of Rome's finest governors. That one of course, coming in because Bruegel makes some amazing maps. I was talking about this earlier, Bruegel's hands-off Lugdunum. This is a Lugdunum that can run completely hands-off, as in you don't edit anything and it will run stably and well forever. So, yeah, look at it, it's been running for Probably about 9,000 years in game. It's a long time. I wonder if he's got some kind of supercomputer fully tweaked to just run Caesar 3 damn near perfectly. It kind of stops looking like a city after a while. It's definitely a puzzle making the most of the really, I'm sure there's a word for it, but the awkward mechanics of Caesar 3. To be clear, I did not build this map. But if we fast forward, eventually the boys in blue are going to arrive, because he's in perennial debt. Ah, there we go. And with this particular setup, he doesn't need his armies, he just roasts the boys in blue. Of course, it's not as simple as setting up this incredible automated Factorio-style defense. Every little bit of this city is absolutely balanced out to run in perpetuity, down to undoubtedly this. The consensus is very smooth, which means he maintains a not perfect health. The health in his city is good. That ensures plenty of people die before they become unemployable. So good. Not really how I'd want to play the game though, it's a little too fine-tuned. There's a lot of forced walkers going on, multi-loops that don't seem to make a lot of sense. Unless you understand the esoteric backbone of Caesar 3. But it is very impressive. Gosh, I love this game. But you know what I love even more? I'm gonna lie and say I love the spirit of Christmas and sharing it. Because at the start of this, we asked people if they prefer to give or receive, and they were able to throw their points in. So of course, we're going to take all the points that people decided to give, and give them to those who wanted to receive. 3 million channel points to give out. James, that's pretty good. It's better than a lot of donation drives can do. Let's complete it, and let's share the love. We can get this on stream, can't we? Where's my predictions outcome? That looks a lot like my predictions outcome. So, who's getting a stocking full of point presents this Christmas? Well, Ninjin's getting the biggest lot. He said he has the biggest heart to fill, so Ninjin asked kindly for the largest proportion of the points pot. Another Christmas gift is given to Demon321. They modestly put in 100,000 to receive 2.3 times back. Kane and Shiro and Pepper Ann all wanted to receive this Christmas, as does Kino, my Kino Assault, Chumro, Moscha, hey, Yedrello, always a pleasure to see the name around. One of the longest standing names around here. Christ, that's old decrepit furniture Kalpa style of this community. And Plo. And who has the big non-grinchy heart to give those points away? Ah, there we go. The people with all the points that they want to share with the less fortunate. It's Barcode, it's Matty, Tin, Nemi, Luminifer, good old Kiryu, Sixsock, Junin, Runic, and Bouncy. Righto. Goodness, that was fun. Well, of course it was fun. It was Caesar 3. God, I love Caesar 3. And if you make a map, or if you find an interesting map and you're like, ooh, Jake should play this, send it my way. There are probably by now thousands of maps that have been made over the 20-year history of this game. A lot of them kept on Caesar 3 Haven, but I don't go and troll through all of them. I just check for the recent ones. Send them my way. I almost always play a map that I'm sent. It has to have Marek levels of rocks everywhere for me to go, yeah, no thanks. But I'm blabbing on because this is really the preamble for Xenonauts and a giveaway.